living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Shohei Ohtani's unique talents on full display tonight as a pitcher and batter when he starts on the mound for the Dodgers in Game 4 of the World Series versus Shane Bieber and the Blue Jays, 7 Eastern ESPN Radio. Dodgers up 2-1 after last night's win in 18 innings. So what impact might that game have on the teams tonight? ESPN MLB analyst Eduardo Perez.
Today, I expect runs. I expect a lot of runs today. The bullpens, they're depleted. They're exhausted. Hitters are starting to recognize the pitching. Now everyone has been exposed to this World Series. To me, the hitters are going to be on. The pitchers are going to be exhausted. It's going to be a hitters galore.
32 runs have been scored through the first 3 games of this fall classic. Blue Jays DH George Springer uncertain tonight due to left side discomfort. Tonight, it's the 3rd edition of the Frozen Frenzy with all 32 NHL teams playing, including Capital Stars, 8:30 Eastern ESPN. With a goal tonight, Washington captain Alex Ovechkin becomes the first player ever with 900 career goals.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. As we head towards Week 9 in the NFL, I'll tell you which one of my preseason bold predictions I want to have back. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You, sir. And Mr. Toby Tompley. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Shea Dixon here in about 15 minutes from right now. Ross Jackson next hour. Sean Salsbury, hour 3. A new era of LSU football begins, I guess, today because the LSU Tigers are on the practice field for the first time under Frank Wilson, who will address the media tonight. So we have a ton to do, and glad you're here. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, this was absolutely inevitable. Tyler Shough has been named the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints for this Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. It was reported early Tuesday. I believe Ian Rappaport had it first. The New Orleans Saints have now made it official. It's Tuesday, so it's an off day in the NFL, but word started to spread. Rappaport had it first that both Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler had been informed. And now the Saints have put it out there via social media post. It's interesting because if you go back through this offseason, of course, throughout fall camp or training camp with Moore and Rattler, there was a quarterback battle. Rattler ended up getting the nod. And Kellen Moore, was asked back in late August about the chances of both playing there week 1 against Arizona. This is what he said back in August.
I don't see that likely. I think it's important someone's going to be our starter, and we're going to rally behind that guy, and he's going to go lead our team.
So they played one guy, Spencer Rattler. A handful of days later, he was asked again about the possible quarterback shuffle. This was August the 26th, so this is about 2 weeks before the opener.
That's the important thing, guys. We're not getting into this QB debate throughout this season. Spencer's our starting quarterback. Tyler's going to keep developing. Quarterbacks, you need a couple quarterbacks in seasons. These are long NFL seasons. And so, I think we do value that we have depth there, and we'll have to navigate the rest of it as we go. But, we're really excited about Spence. He's going to do an awesome job for us.
To his credit, he's not wrong. They have been committed to this point to one guy, Spencer Rattler. And despite the fact that he started 0-10 in his career as a starter, and this New Orleans Saints team this year is 1-7, they've stuck with one guy until Sunday. Now, what I'm going to say here is not new. It's the thing I've been saying since they drafted Spencer Rattler, and that I've said all season long. I'm sorry. It's the thing I've been saying since they drafted Tyler Shough, and I've been saying all season long. I do not believe the sole reason the New Orleans Saints are 1-7 is because Spencer Rattler has played poorly. I don't think that. He has played at times very clean, efficient football. Now, the past 2 weeks, turnovers have been a problem. You turn the ball over 4 times in a loss, that's a problem. You turn the ball over twice in the first half, including a deflected pick 6 and a fumble when you're driving early in the game. That's a problem because now you're contributing to the losses. But that has not been the case for Rattler throughout. It has been the past couple of weeks. But I do not believe the Saints are 1-7 because Spencer Rattler has played poorly. They're 1-7 because they stink. They are a talentless roster right now. They are arguably the worst roster in the NFL. Rookie head coach, no experience at quarterback. You're void of talent, aging veterans with expensive contracts. It's all the reasons that we've talked about for years here about how Mickey Loomis has driven this organization into the ground because he has screwed up contracts and screwed up drafts and screwed up hires, and they stink. That's why they're 1-7, not because of Spencer Rattler. Okay? Also true, Spencer Rattler has not elevated this team. You had an opportunity to win at home against Arizona. Now, I don't know that we're all going to point to the end of the game with Juwan Johnson dropping that ball in the end zone or failing to make a contested catch in the end zone. That would have tied the game or given you a chance to go for 2. Could Rattler have made other plays during the game? At some point, probably. A week later against San Francisco, you lose at home by 5, 26-21. Bottom line is, you've had some opportunities. Rattler is not elevating you, and you're not very good offensively. You're 22nd in the NFL in passing. You're 28th in the NFL in rushing. You're 29th in the NFL in scoring. You're averaging 16 points per game. Let me say that again slowly. You are averaging 16 points per game. You are not good. And I get it. You got a young offensive line at tackle. You got a bad offensive line in the interior. You're missing your starting center as your best line. You do not have dynamic weapons on the outside. Chris Olave grabbed the throat again this weekend. When Tyler Shough went into the game, he got him intercepted because he bobbled the ball right up into the air, got it ripped away by Antoine Winfield. Because Chris Olave is not a legit number 1. He's at best a 2, probably a 3 in the NFL. Rashid Shaheed fumbled on Sunday. You do not have dynamic playmakers on this offense. Alvin Kamara's old. So it's not all on Rattler. But you right now, the New Orleans Saints, have the best odds to finish with the worst record in the NFL. The Jets won this weekend. You have the best odds to finish with the worst record, meaning you'd have the number 1 pick. You are going to have a chance in April to draft the best quarterback in this class. I don't know who that is. We can have that conversation months from now. You're going to have the opportunity. And if it's not 1 and you pick 2 or 3 or 4, you're going to be picking somewhere in the top 5 with an opportunity to draft your franchise quarterback. You have got to know. I'm going to say this again. It's the same thing I've said for weeks. You have got to know what you have in Tyler Shough. You used the 40th pick on him. You spent all of the evaluation period, Senior Bowl, Combine, Pro Days, private workouts, evaluating last year's quarterback draft class and use the 40th overall pick on Tyler Shough. You have got to find out if you have something there you feel like you can build around. I do not expect Tyler Shough to win the game Sunday in Los Angeles. I think the Saints will lose to the Rams. I don't know if Tyler Shough will win a single game as the starting quarterback of the Saints for the remainder of this season. Just like I'm not pinning all the losses on Rattler. And like I've said consistently since the offseason, I am not judging this team by wins and losses. They are not good enough, talented enough, deep enough of a roster to win games consistently in the National Football League. They are a bad football team. Anybody with two eyes could see this. Stevie Wonder could see it. Yeah, sorry. Hit the rim shot. Give me one. I deserve it. It's been a long 48 hours. I deserve it. Anyway, bottom line is you have got to give Tyler Shough the opportunity, the same opportunity that Spencer Rattler has had from the last year and through 8 games this year. You gave him half the season. Your team stinks. He's turning the ball over the past couple of weeks. You're not getting better. I get it. I'm not saying you throw dirt on Spencer Rattler's career after 8 starts this season. But he's had his opportunity. He's not elevating your offense. You have got to find out if you think there are things there with Tyler Shough that you can build upon. Because you're going to have an opportunity in April to draft whoever it may be. Fernando Mendoza, Lenoris Sellers. I don't know. I don't know who it's going to be. Well, again, we'll figure that out at a later date, whoever's at the top of the draft. But the question you're going to have to answer in April is, are you using that top 5 pick on your franchise quarterback? Or are you using that on a cornerstone franchise piece, a rush end, the best receiver in the draft, a lockdown corner, whomever it may be? Are you using that pick on that player that's going to make you better to complement your young quarterback? Well, you can't figure that out in practice. Until you throw him out there in the deep end on NFL Sundays to see how he reacts, you can't figure it out. This is 100% the right decision, and it is not a knock on Spencer Rattler. Rattler is what he is. He's a guy that is a talented player, does some things well. But the reality is he's a 5th-round pick, and if you're a 5th-round pick, you're going to have to do something extraordinary to become a team's franchise quarterback. He has not done that. You have invested the 40th overall pick in a quarterback. You are going to give him an opportunity. That's the bottom line. You are going to give him an opportunity to see if he can live up to that investment. Make good on that investment. That starts on Sunday. Again, I am not going to pick the Saints to beat the Rams. I don't know that I'm going to pick them to win another game. They got some opportunities to play the Jets at home, play the Dolphins at home. You got some opportunities. But I'm not expecting this to be great. But we got to see what it looks like so you can have as much information as possible when you go into the draft process in April to know if you are picking a quarterback or if you're picking someone else to complement your young quarterback. And that starts on Sunday. It's 100% the right decision to start Tyler Shough, and he should start for the remainder of this season. Give him a 9-game sample as your starter to see how it looks. And you'll gather all that information, and you'll make a decision at the end of this season. But it starts on Sunday against the Rams. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Show Up in Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with a great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR. Of course, the official beer of the LSU Tigers and the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. So if you're going to be watching the game at home or a sports bar, wherever you may be this weekend, make sure you have delicious ice-cold Bud Light as the Saints take on the Rams, or it's LSU's open date. Still, great opportunity to go snag some delicious ice-cold Bud Light in the officially licensed white LSU cans and 16-ounce aluminum bottles. Drink easy with a great taste of Bud Light. Okay, y'all. It's After Further Review. Glad you're with us. Ross Jackson's going to be here in an hour. We'll get Ross's take on everything with Tyler Shough starting and the Saints moving here into the second half of the season. So we'll get to all that. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. Shea Dixon will be with us. Brian Kelly fired. We know that by now. There's always ripples and waves in recruiting circles after that. Great time to bring on Shea Dixon from On 3, the Bengal Tiger, to talk about how the BK news has been received in recruiting circles. We'll do that next on AFR.
After Further Review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Could not be easier if you're on hormone replacement therapy. And I've told you this before, man, if you're on HRT already, it is worth switching to Goodwood for a couple of key reasons. Number one, they got the lowest prices and never any contracts. Most places aren't going to lock you into a contract anyway, but they have the lowest prices. And when you go for your semi-annual blood labs, they pick up that expense. They don't charge you for that. They incur the expense for your blood labs. That alone is a reason to switch, and they're awesome. Your medicine, of course, will be shipped right to your door. Or if you want to go in for your weekly injections, you can do that as well at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness right there on Drusilla. And remember, Goodwood's part of that sort of like three-pronged. They've got Unique Physique, which is the GLP-1s, Unique Aesthetics and Wellness, which is Botox, and all the aesthetic clinic, $8 unit Botox, by the way. Jen, tell your lady. And, of course, Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
So many different angles with the Brian Kelly news that we have to address. Certainly, when you fire a coach, you always anticipate there will be attrition on your current roster and in your recruiting class. That feels like an inevitability regardless of the program or the situation. No one better to talk to than Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, joins us now. Shady, how are you, man?
I'm doing well. It's only been less than 48 hours. I feel like it's been a month, and we have more than that to go. So been busy, but I guess it's fun to cover.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Has there been or what has been the reaction in recruiting circles to the Brian Kelly news?
Yeah, I mean, you've talked about it, but you look at, like, I'll compare it to a Penn State, for instance, Matt, and when James Franklin got let go, my Hayes Fawcett, Louisiana native, and the rivals sort of expert on breaking recruiting news nationally. It was pinging about every 5 minutes with someone decommitting from Penn State. And when this has happened with Brian Kelly, no one is decommitted. And they have 17 commits, right? 16 commits going. I'll get to that in a second, but 16 commits were entering the weekend and 17 now, but one for next year, Peyton Houston. So you've got 17, 18 kids total there. None of them, all of them stuck. Why? Well, one, I think when you deal with Louisiana, obviously, and the majority of these kids are from Louisiana, that in border states, that they're committing to LSU for LSU. And the move to put Frank as the interim head coach comes with a lot of different, you could put together a long list of like why it makes sense to do that and stabilize things for a variety of ways. And one is in recruiting. Like people will talk about Brian Kelly and how involved was he in recruiting or wasn't involved to any large degree. And I've kind of said, all right, well, step back for a second. And that wasn't an expectation, right? It was understood that in this modern era of having a GM that would handle the NIL and rev share and everything else in, hires, stuff like that. And that's Austin Thomas. And then you've got the recruiting side, which position coaches and a long kind of growing list of, for every college out there, staff who do that, beyond the on-field coaches. And then you've got a guy like Frank who, he wasn't, I don't know, he's got a bunch of titles. I'm sure you just throw recruiting coordinator in there. He's held it a few times, but is someone who knows everyone on the team, all their parents, everyone in recruiting. So you don't have that kind of Penn State feel to it. It's almost like, hey, look, they may not lose a commit. And if they do, maybe it's not a Louisiana kid and it's not surprising, but for a fact that if you put Frank Wilson in charge of the program for another month plus, that you don't have to worry too much about recruiting. So all of that to say that I would have been more surprised if kids just started decommitting, and that wasn't the case. And I'll end it by saying that they didn't add a commitment on Monday with no head coach, but they brought in Kervin Johnson Jr. out of Tioga, and the guy who leads the state right now as a senior in receiving yards, receiving touchdowns. He's got great size and has been that late riser. We see it every year in Louisiana, and certainly with wide receivers, they're kind of grow on trees down here and ultimately end up NFL guys. And sometimes you didn't even see it coming in high school. And that's where guys like him fit in. So not surprising at all, and really not surprising at all that they then go out and get a commitment.
I want to come back to Kervin Johnson in a second, though, but stick on Frank for a moment. Clearly, Shea, one of the reasons that he was the associate head coach, but I think the hope is that he can keep the roster and the recruiting class together for the duration of this season. Could you elaborate a little bit more on Frank's ability to do that and how they're expecting that to play out over the next month?
I just think that, go back, I guess we call it the modern era, right, of recruiting. And we can just say start in like 2000 and go to now. So 25 years or so. There aren't many coaches out there who have stayed in college, who have been at numerous places that are as well known as Frank Wilson. Bruce Feldman wrote a book about Frank Wilson and that Ole Miss staff, Meat Market, which is probably one of the most, certainly not many books about recruiting. I probably should just quit my job and write books about recruiting. But Bruce, that whole thing was one of my favorite kind of insights into how recruiting really worked. And Frank was front and center in that book. And you can go back to that book, like the late Joe McKnight and everyone before then. Like, you've got a guy who for 20 years more has been at the forefront of recruiting 5-stars. And then the relationships he's got with former players is so strong because not just high school recruiting, but when they get on the team, your head coach is not someone who can sit there and have a rapport with everyone on the team. But Frank's the type that does, by and large. So I think that when you look at naming an interim, it makes complete sense to say Frank Wilson's on our staff, go for it, because nearly everyone on the team and their parents and everybody else have a relationship with Frank. They can text him, call him, whatever it might be, and they get things handled. And I think when you look at that, and there is a reality that 30-day window and everyone can enter the portal during the season, They did away with that. I don't think some people missed that because they weren't expecting LSU to.
Yeah, no, I missed
LSU
that.
fans to have to actually pay attention to that this year. But because of that, you don't have anyone leaving right away. But if you don't have someone like Frank there, it doesn't get stabilized in the next month to where you have this mass exodus the second that they are allowed to leave. And I think you can feel that way now because you're seeing, hey, what he's done in recruiting. They did not have a mass exodus with the recruiting class, so I wouldn't expect that to be the case on the team. It would be more of, hey, who is the new coach coming in or whatever it might be. And it's sort of natural attrition in a way that the blow is lessened. So, it becomes so much less of a blow to you when you're in Louisiana. Most of your kids are from here, and you are a top 5 program in college football, that you can make a staff transition like this and not have to worry about the entire roster falling apart and not bringing in, the high school recruits that you wanted.
Yeah. Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. By the way, just to clarify, even though that 30-day window no longer exists, players could still opt out of the remainder of the season if they chose to, and no one has chosen to do that. So it's important, but you're right about the 30-day window. Let me ask specifically about Lamar Brown, because I know that's a giant concern that a lot of people have. He was one of the ones that tweeted, thank you for being the first coach to believe in me, sort of a supportive tweet for Brian Kelly. Can you tell us where things stand there with Lamar Brown, considering he picked LSU over A&M and he was there front and center watching A&M really handle LSU Saturday night?
I'd be more worried about that if they had not made a change like this. And I don't even know how worried I was before that, like Saturday night. Obviously, look, A&M was the other school involved here, but this is a Baton Rouge kid, and I've got to remove myself from that mentality of the old school Bama days where it felt like every U-High kid was just going to Bama. And it was like, well, these kids go to school on campus already. They want to do something new, and this program is in a better place than you are right now. Even with A&M doing well this year, I think that you can argue LSU is still the top school of the two. So, and it's a sound argument. I don't think that my panic meter on a Lamar Brown type is not very high right now. And I remember when Lamar committed over the summer, this is a guy, Frank, back in middle school for Lamar, was having him at McNeese's camp. So when he was the head coach there, so their relationship goes back a long way. And I think one thing people need to remember, I have to remind myself of this often just because it's changed recruiting in a way, of NIL and rev share. Like every guy in the class is going to have an NIL rev share agreement in place. And that goes into play whenever they commit to a college. And I think we're seeing a lot fewer decommits, whether you have a coaching change or not. It's a lot tougher to flip guys now, just because the reality of, if they're in a spot where they've already, feel comfortable with everything, and it's not just a verbal commitment, but it's more than that, commitment-wise, that guys just sort of don't just say, hey, look, I'm reopening my process and exploring options. It just doesn't happen a ton. And because of that, I just don't, unless Lamar Brown is starting to visit A&M for games and all of that, I've always just said I think that he winds up at LSU.
Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger, talking about the recruiting implications of Brian Kelly's firing. You mentioned Kervin Johnson, who, interestingly enough, LSU landed a commit after Brian Kelly was fired. Fill in the deets here, Shea, about who Kervin Johnson is and how they made this happen. Did we lose Shea? Wait, there we go. I think we got you back, Shea. Sorry about that. What's that? Oh, he dropped. Okay, well, let's see. I do want to ask him. Okay, I want to ask him about Kervin Johnson, so we'll get him back. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. You want to see 2020? You can always call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Of course, locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area, full-service optical shop, eye care, eyewear, eye surgery. And remember, as we head toward the end of the year, if you have those HSA or FSA funds, don't let them go to waste. Don't let them expire. You can use that toward your refractive procedure. LASIK, PRK, EVO, ICL, the custom lens replacement. No matter your age or refractive issue, you want to see 2020? Call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Okay, we got Shea back. Shea, apologies, we lost you. I was just asking if you could fill us in on the details there about Kervin Johnson, who he is and how they ended up landing him here.
Committed to Louisiana Tech in September, so kind of right as his senior year began. And this is someone they had been really watching closely because he was, as I noted, leading the state in receiving touchdowns. And I think he's right at about 1,000 yards. I know he has 14 touchdowns. So guys on 40-something catches, you're averaging 25 yards a catch. And also, really, I mean, this is the impressive, even just as impressive part. 6 foot, a little bit north, Matt, of 6'2" as a senior in high school, already north of 200 pounds, really good measurables, has the track background, everything else that you want to see kind of from a dual sport, multi-sport kid coming out of Central Louisiana. And they've got 2 commits, right, at receiver, now 3, but Jabari Mack out of Destrehan, Kenny Darby out of Airline. Mack's the highest ranked of them all. Like, he's been a top 50 prospect since he kind of came onto the scene. He's 6 foot, 200 probably. And Kenny Darby out of Airline led the state in receiving last year. He's 6 foot, in that 180 something range. So Kervin Johnson being 6'2" and north of 200 gives you that completely different mold of receiver. It's the more of a bigger body, taller, and he's quite productive. So this was sort of a no-brainer. And if it weren't in Louisiana, I think he would have been picking up offers left and right. But it's one of those things when LSU makes a move on you and has found you in Sinlaw at a school like that at Tioga, that everyone else just sort of says nice grab by LSU there and doesn't even try to get in the mix. So I saw even he'd taken a photo with DJ Chark on the sidelines this past weekend, and he had a little bit of size on DJ, who obviously ain't too shabby from LSU to the NFL and as a prospect coming out of that area. So this is one that I'd expect his recruiting ranking does not look the same as it does now when the next wave of updates come in the next month or so.
He's Shea Dixon on 3, the Bengal Tiger. Make sure you catch him there and get him at Shea Dixon. Always appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
All right, man. Be well. Tuesday show is powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Yeah, man, you look at Kervin Johnson, and candidly, I didn't know that man's name before he committed to LSU. But that's one of those where you look at the recruiting ranking, and he's number 1,389 nationally. He's the 211th best wide receiver. You're going to tell me there's a 6'2.5", 195-pound dude from Central Louisiana who leads the state in receiving and touchdown receptions, who has a track background, and that dude is ranked number 1,389? Like, what am I missing? I don't know, man. I'm not the one out there putting out rankings, but something don't feel right about that. But LSU landed one. All right, it's after further review. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. SunEquip.com, SunEquip.com. We'll knock out a quick break. Thanks to Shea for being here. Ross Jackson in 45 minutes. We'll get his take on big change for the New Orleans Saints. Tyler Shough is the new starting quarterback. We'll go around the SEC when we come back next. Greg Sankey displeased with the new ruling by the NCAA. Total number of buyouts around college football. Lot to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance. Watermark Downtown, Renaissance Southtown. Of course, Watermark Baton Rouge there at the old Louisiana National Bank building, the original high-rise building in downtown Baton Rouge. Gorgeous. They just celebrated the centennial of the building. Turned 100 years old just earlier this month. It's gorgeous if you've never been there. And they've done an amazing job at preserving the historical integrity of that building while adding the modern amenities to it. And there's some really cool guest rooms too. Like, there's one guest room that was part of the old Louisiana National Bank building where there's no windows on the side, but there's a skylight on the top. So they're like literally unique, meaning only one rooms in that hotel that if you want to stay, you could say it's a fascinating place. Anyway, maybe you need a staycation. Maybe you have family coming in for the holidays or for an LSU football game. Make sure they know about Watermark Baton Rouge, an awesome place to stay, to dine at the Gregory downtown, or to host your next event. It's downtown Baton Rouge. It's Watermark Baton Rouge.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dosequis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home, with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around the clock.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Plowing these fields in the hot summer sun, over by the gate, Lordy, here she comes with a basket full of chicken and a big cold jug of sweet tea.
All right, glad you're with us here. A lot of reaction to Brian Kelly's firing from LSU players, current and former. Get to that here in about a dozen minutes from right now. It is a pretty fascinating time in these parts. And one of the things I do want to jump into next hour. So LSU's back on the practice field today. They were off Monday. It's their open day, but they're practicing today. And so this is the first day that Frank Wilson has had the team together and as the interim coach. And I've been asked a lot as we've talked about all the hypothetical scenarios for an LSU coach. And actually, right as I was about to come on air, I got someone asked me on the text line. I'll give you his name if I can find it real quick. Sorry. Anyway, I was trying to find who it was. Someone was asking point blank if I thought Frank Wilson could get the job full time. And I gave that a lot of thought today because I do actually think there is a scenario that could unfold. And I'll lay that out for you coming up here in about an hour from right now. Kirby Smart, during his press conference, was asked about LSU firing Brian Kelly. The Georgia coach, former LSU assistant, two-time national champ, had this to say about Brian Kelly's ouster.
I don't know. I mean, it's the world we live in. You know, I don't know enough about what's going on over there. You know, I think there's so much built around the playoffs. And it's like everything's boom or bust, and you can't have a normal season. People got to make decisions earlier based on how somebody does. And I don't know enough about it. I know it's high expectations. I coached at LSU, and a guy once told me, he said, that office you're in, that's not your office. You're borrowing it. And I knew right then that if you didn't win, you wouldn't be there long.
Says the safeties coach from 2003. I mean, he ain't wrong, though. It's a good line. I mean, he's been here. You know what the expectation is. It's after further review. By the way, there's a piece up. It's interesting at ESPN.com. Paula Levine has this up. It's a piece about all the buyouts. There is a combined, when you add Brian Kelly's $54 million buyout, the amount of money owed FBS coaches, buyout money, is $167.7 million. 167.7. James Franklin was at 49. When you look at this list, it's $21 million for Billy Napier, $15 million for Mike Gundy, $9.8 million to Sam Pittman, $6 million to Brent Pry at Virginia Tech, $5 million to Deshaun Foster, $4 million to Trent Bray at Oregon State, $2.4 million to Trent Dilfer from UAB, $1.5 million for Jay Norvell at Colorado State. And, of course, the Brian Kelly buyout added to that. I know the question we keep consistently getting is, why do they keep doing contracts with buyouts? And I understand the question, but you almost have to look at it in reverse. Because if you're not willing to give that type of contract with that type of guarantee to a premier candidate, why would the premier candidate leave their job? Like, why would Lane Kiffin leave Ole Miss, where he's making, 8 figures a year and has a team on the verge of the playoff? Why would he leave for LSU without that type of financial guarantee? Same for Dan Lanning coming down from Oregon. Like, you have got to incentive those people have all the leverage in the negotiation. They have something you want. You want them. You're trying to lure them. They're negotiating from a position of strength. So this is the type of contract you have to give. It's why I think this is going to be the most fascinating hiring cycle, because of what LSU might be willing to spend, is one, and who is going to be making this hire is two. Because within 2 weeks, within a couple of weeks, you're going to have a new university president. And I believe there's a very strong push for, when the new university president is in place, to install a new athletic director. And will that athletic director, provided it happens that way, have the autonomy to hire a coach? Or is it going to be some combination of Verge Osbury and Austin Thomas and whoever the new president is? Like, can you get a president in place, an AD in place in time to then hire a coach and have everybody have their say? I don't know. It's a fascinating time, because a lot of moving parts need to happen in very, very short order to make this happen, to know who's going to make the decision, how much money you're going to spend. And that'll tell you what type of pool you're fishing in for a new head coach. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SEC in just a second. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. Go to parishrestoration.com. Listen, we're getting to cold and flu season. Maybe if you start getting sickness, virus, illness going through your work, you can always call Parish Restoration. They'll come, they'll spray their patented non-toxic dry fog. They'll knock out whatever viruses that is, all the way down to the spores, mold, everything. It's Parish Restoration. Maybe you had water intrusion, you have that odor, maybe you have odor from smoke or from pets or from sweat. They can knock that out as well just by spraying their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So, home, commercial buildings, your vehicle, they can do it all. It's parishrestoration.com, parishrestoration.com. All right, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference, the Texas Longhorns.
Arch Manning was in the concussion protocol, did not practice Monday ahead of the game against Vanderbilt this weekend. Sark said the team would update Manning's injury later in the week. He was injured on the first play of overtime in Texas's win against Mississippi State. If Arch can't play, it'll be grad transfer Matthew Caldwell.
The Auburn Tigers.
Hugh Freeze not ready to commit to Ashton Daniels as Auburn's starting quarterback. He took over for Jackson Arnold in the second quarter of the win against Arkansas over the weekend. Daniels is a transfer from Stanford. Not yet cemented as the starter this weekend against Kentucky, according to Freeze. We'll find out later in the week.
The Missouri Tigers.
Bo Prabula's injury was initially believed to be season-ending, but it might be slightly less serious. Matt Zenitz is reporting Prebula could return before the end of the season. He has a bad sprain and ligament damage, but no surgery is necessary. That is fantastic news because that injury looked gnarly at the time it happened, that tackle around the goal line.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Oklahoma's flipped 2026 wide receiver Jashir Rogers from Penn State. He's out of Delaware. I'd been committed to Penn State since July of 2024. He's the 22nd member of Oklahoma's 2026 class.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
JUCO safety Dre Riley has committed to Mississippi State. Got the offer just a couple of days ago. Didn't take long to accept. He picked Mississippi State over East Carolina, Arkansas State, Old Dominion, North Texas, Charlotte, Marshall, among others. 6'1", 185 out of Northwest Mississippi Community College.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
And Vandy landed a commitment from three-star defensive back Mason Lewis, committed to Vandy over Iowa and Kansas State. It's one-time Cal commit. That's noted ACC power, Cal. He also considered North Carolina. 6 foot, 195-pounder, expected to play defensive back, although he has played receiver in high school. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC. We are presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Visit sunequip.com, sunequip.com. If you want to check them out, remember zero-turn mowers, tractors, combines, everything. They got gators as well. It's at Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. All right, we're going to knock out a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap up hour number one. Tons of reaction from current former LSU players about Brian Kelly's firing. We'll get to that here on AFR.
AFR.
Let's Rev, y'all. REV. Let'sRev.com. 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 If you are looking for lightning fast, high-speed internet, and let's be honest, who isn't? You want Rev. Rev is powered by an all-fiber network, and it's backed by local support teams. The great part about the all-fiber network, it's underground, y'all, which means storms come, knocks down the power lines, knocks out your internet for a week and a half. That won't happen anymore. It's underground, so you're not going to lose connectivity. It's awesome. From the river to the lake to the bayou, Rev services nearly 70,000 residential and business customers. Parish Construction and Roofing, our parish office, we are Rev customers. Matter of fact, if you check out there's a Rev ad that they shot over at the parish office. Here at Guarantee Media, we are Rev customers. Our internet, our television service, Rev, R-E-V. Let'sRev.com. 5 gigs, reliability of fiber, Let'sRev.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Faugu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Faugu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Look at her face, she ain't a fooling me. She thinks my tractor's sexy. It really turns her on.
All right, wrapping up hour number one. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. There's been so much reaction to Brian Kelly's firing, and sometimes those things will tell you will tell you how people feel. And you know, I'm not gonna. I don't have notes. I'm just gonna share this sentiment with you. I've done a lot of radio interviews, different shows, as you would imagine, right? I mean, Brian Kelly getting fired is a big deal. A lot of people want a Baton Rouge perspective and LSU perspective. So a lot of us in the media who cover LSU are doing a lot of interviews now. And I get asked in some form or fashion the same thing over and over again, which is to say Brian Kelly wasn't a fit. People didn't like him. They make fun of the family thing. And it's very, it's the same thing over and over. And it's odd because it feels very much, it feels very much just like outsiders who are part of this echo chamber that just keep repeating the same thing over and over again that they've heard other people say. We have a piece up at LouisianaSports.net where we gathered a lot of social media reaction from like current, former players on their reaction to Brian Kelly being fired. And what's interesting is like you run through some of this: Malik Neighbors, Braden Swinson, Patrick Queen, Trey Holly, Braden Fajoko, Brandon LaFell, Xavier Atkins, Reed Ferguson, who are all maybe not saying the nicest things about Brian Kelly. Some of them are former players. You mentioned Trey Holly, Bernard Causey, who was here and then transferred out. I think one thing is very obvious. Former players did not have a great feeling toward Brian Kelly. And the reason, I believe, pretty obvious. When he came in, one of the first things he did was he closed the door on the former players. Ed Ogeron had a policy when he was the head coach. Ed Ogeron did a very smart thing, and that was Derek Panamsky was Ed's right hand, and when Ed got the interim, he brought Derek from this studio over to, well, I guess we were downstairs at the time, but anyway, from co-host of the morning show on this station with Jordy to go be his, the assistant to the head coach. And Derek knew the pulse of the fan base and the lay of the land and what people liked and didn't like from Les. And Ed immediately opened practice to the media. They started the Tiger Walk where they invited former players to walk down the hill with the team. And then they opened everything, football ops, workout facilities, practice, everything to former players. Never needed to invite former players, come whenever they wanted. And so he gained a ton of goodwill with fans, media, and former players. When Brian Kelly got the job, he closed the door to the former players. So to say, if you wanted to come to practice, it's fine, but call ahead and schedule that you're coming and all that sort of stuff. And so a lot of former players didn't like being locked out of the program. Now, I understand and respect very much the contributions former players make. I'm not a former player. I also understand that a coach has to run a program the way they want to run the program, and I respect that. But you look at some current players, like Whit Weeks, for example, put on his IG story a picture of a team prayer with Kelly, with Weeks there, with his arm around him, everyone on a knee in the locker room, a heart, and a tiger face emoji. It's very clearly Whit Weeks, one of your team leaders, one of your captains, showing support for Brian Kelly. Colin Hurley shared on social media, for those that missed this earlier, of course, Colin Hurley, who went through a very serious situation with this car wreck, medically induced coma, the recovery, rehab. Colin Hurley tweeted a bit ago a couple of photos with he and Brian Kelly, and he says, I don't care what anyone has to say about this man. The impact he had on my life is something that can never be taken away from me. He loved me each and every day. He cared for me endlessly through my best days and my worst. I love you, Coach, forever. And this is all to say, listen, Kenny Lacy, who was here in this studio a few weeks ago, shared a picture of Coach Frank, and he said, this dude actually came and sat down with our family and showed us real, genuine love when my son died, along with a couple of other coaches. He said, I didn't even get a call or a text from that dude, meaning Kelly, in the back. Must be nice to get paid millions to get your walking papers. Let's get it, Coach Frank. Well, Kyron Lacy's mother responded, actually, to the contrary, with a supportive post of Brian Kelly. All this to say, I think whatever reaction Candace said, Brian Kelly absolutely called me after Kyron passed. We spoke more than once. Coach Sloan met with me as well, along with much of the staff. Coach Kelly spoke beautifully at Kyron's funeral, honoring his life, impact he made on and off the field. Anyway, all this to say, whatever reaction you're seeking, you're going to find. But understand that there is good that'll go along with the negative as well.
AFR.
Arco Power Systems, arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com. That's the website. Arco Power Systems, this is industrial generator power. This is industrial Generac power. So these are Generac generators for your business. We talk about home standby generators a lot. That is not Arco. Arco provides standby power for your commercial building, your industrial facility. What happens to your business when the power goes out? For many businesses, that's not an option. You have to have a standby power option for your business when the power goes out, whether it's a hurricane, a thunderstorm, snow and ice, which we've had here as well. Arco is there. They can install permanent standby power options. They can rent options in the event of an outage. They can service your generator, and they have offices all over the Gulf South. Arco.com, ARCCO, arco.com.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. He guard Terry Rozier on leave amid allegations he manipulated his performance in a March 2023 NBA game as part of gambling schemes, was facing an $8 million tax lien from the IRS in November of that same year, according to county clerk records obtained by ESPN. Countdown continues toward Game 4 of the World Series from Los Angeles. Dodgers in a pretty good spot after winning last night's 18-inning game over the Blue Jays. They're up 2-1, points out ESPN MLB insider Jeff Passan.
Game 3, when it's tied 1-1, if you win it, you win 69% of the time going forward historically. And so for the Dodgers to take that and then have Shohei Ohtani back on the mound for Game 4 with Blake Snell lined up for Game 5, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto for Game 6. The Dodgers feel great about the position they're in right now.
Regarding Ohtani, after what he's done so far in the Fall Classic, Blue Jays plan to take the bat out of his hands and intentionally walk him. Toronto counters with Shane Bieber in Game 4, 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio. NFL, the Saints will start rookie quarterback Tyler Shough against the Rams on Sunday.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Wednesday. As we head towards Week 9 in the NFL, I'll tell you which one of my preseason bold predictions I want to have back. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt. Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Talk to Ross Jackson in about 15 minutes from right now. Get the latest from New Orleans. Saints are 1-7. They're going to start Tyler Shough Sunday against the Rams. We'll get some reaction on what to watch there. Sean Salsbury, 1 hour from right now. We have talked plenty about who is next at LSU. And my firmly held contention is can't really have that conversation seriously yet until we know how much LSU is willing to spend and who is going to be making the hire. Do you want to go spend $100 million again to lure Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning? Or are you going to try to get a lesser deal on an up-and-coming coach? Are you going to look at John Summerall? Are you going to try to make a play for Joe Brady? Some of the other names that we've discussed. And it's impossible to know until you know who's making that hire. If it's Scott Woodward, we know he's a big game hunter. He goes after the biggest fish in the sea. I've shared with you here, based on the information that I've gotten, believe that Scott Woodward is not going to be making this hire. I think it was very evident this weekend with Governor Jeff Landry injecting himself the manner in which he did into these conversations. A new university president set to be hired within the next several weeks. You have seen the governor start to overhaul leadership throughout the university, from Winston DeQueer, the legal counsel, last January, to now a new university president, where his guy, Wade Rouse from McNeese, is likely going to be that guy, I'm told. That's certainly who the governor is pushing for. And I think that is going to extend to athletic administration as well. And they will look to hire a new athletic director. So not knowing who's making the hire makes it impossible to know, number one, what type of hire they're looking to make or how much they're willing to spend, because I don't know who's making that hire. But Paul Feinbaum was on the Rich Eisen show on Tuesday and said, so far, the most fascinating thing that I have heard in this very short now coach search window. And it's about a guy that won the first national title here in 45 years.
Nick Saban wouldn't talk to Penn State. He wouldn't talk to Florida. But I think he would talk to LSU, at least to see what they have to offer. And by the way, sometimes you can come back and make an offer that even a man who will be 74 years old on Halloween might consider. I think it's worth thinking about. And I'm already hearing on our show down here in the South, Alabama fans saying, please tell me it's not true. Don't tell me that Nick Saban's going to LSU.
You want to talk about the most epic Bama is burning ever? Let this happen. I'm just saying. I learned long ago in this business not to speak in absolutes. So when it comes to coaching searches, I'll use this phrase that I've used forever. Believe nothing, consider everything. So I'm not believing that Nick Saban's coming, but I'll consider anything. Y'all, Ed Ogeron became the head coach at LSU. And you may look at it now with the benefit of hindsight and think, yeah, so what, he won a championship? Right. Remember the context at the time he was hired. That was an absurd, outlandish thought that LSU would hire Ed Ogeron. They did because of circumstances that unfolded the way they did. I will believe nothing. I will consider everything. As it pertains to Sabin, I'll entertain the conversation. Paul Feinbaum, rooted in the state of Alabama, around that university, has obviously a lot of connectivity with Nick Saban and believes he would listen. I want to remind you of this. Nick Saban, last offseason, was a guest on The Pivot with Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor. Nick Saban, Nick Saban's words, talked about his greatest regret in his career.
When I left LSU, that was probably professionally the biggest mistake that I ever made. Not because we didn't have success in Miami, because I enjoyed coaching in Miami, but I found out in that experience that I like coaching in college better because you could develop players personally, academically, athletically, and all that a little more than in pro ball.
The biggest mistake he made professionally was leaving LSU. And he has spoken for years glowingly about his time in Baton Rouge at LSU. Now, you heard also, he's about to be 74 years old next week, on Friday. He'll be 74 years old Friday. What type of contract and deal can you do for a guy that's 74 years old? Short-term, 3-year deal. Would you sign Nick Saban to a 3-year deal at $20 million a year? Would you guarantee Nick Saban $60 million over 3 years, banking that he could come in here and rebuild this thing quickly enough and rebuild culture quickly enough and maybe make a run at winning another national title? Like, is it worth that money? You're damn right it is. And I believe that they would have no problem whatsoever raising those funds. If the power brokers around LSU had the option to get Nick Saban and you had to pass the hat and raise $60 million for 3 years, done in an instant, in a millisecond, done. Nick Saban, is this McAfee or game day? Okay, this was Nick Saban on Pat McAfee talking about would he coach again.
You know, I want to stay retired.
And I do not want him anywhere near Miss Terry. Because when she hears some of these numbers, she gets interested. And I ain't interested.
He said, I ain't interested. That was Sabin on McAfee. They also talked about it briefly and jokingly on College Game Day this past weekend as well. Again, I don't believe Nick Saban is going to unretire. If he wanted to keep coaching, there was no reason to leave Alabama. I mean, he was an errant snap in the national semifinal away from going to the national championship where they would have beaten the crap out of Washington and won a national championship. Okay? He was an errant snap away from that on a team that Alabama fans tried to tell you was no good, and Saban had lost his fastball and all that stuff. He could absolutely do it. He should have stayed if he wanted to be in it. I don't think he wants to be in it. That's the reality. That's why he left. But what would be fascinating is if Nick Saban would take Scott Woodward's call. Because remember, when Nick Saban was here the first time, of course, his agent, Jimmy Sexton, Scott Woodward was the liaison between Mark Emmert, the chancellor, the athletic director, Joe Dean at the time, and the state capitol. He was that guy that was the liaison that tied all the loose ends together. There's a decades-long relationship there and a tie to the era of when Nick was here the first time. Would he be interested if Scott Woodward's not his athletic director? I think he would be decidedly less interested, especially not knowing who would be the AD in this moment. The timing, however, works because think of how complex this decision's going to be. Your season's going to end the Saturday after Thanksgiving at the end of November. Well, you're a few weeks away from the December signing period and then the January portal. If you're interested in Lane Kiffin or Dan Lanning or possibly John Summerall, because Tulane could be in the playoff. Any team in the playoff? You ain't talking to these guys until the end of December or January. The December signing period's over. The January portal's over. And you don't have your coach in place. Solved that with Nick Saban. He's just sitting there doing TV. It's a crazy thought. A thought that I don't think is going to happen. Like, I don't think Nick Saban is coming back at 74 years old to coach LSU and be a bridge or any of that stuff. I think he's sincere when he says he wants to stay retired. But I also believe you pick up the phone and you make him tell you no. You call Miss Terry and you tell her 20, 25 million a year, whatever that number is, and see if you could get Nick Saban here for 3 years to reinstate that culture that he built, which, by the way, then Les Miles was able to build upon for the decade plus he was here, and then Ed Ogeron. Yeah. I do it in a millisecond. Believe nothing. Consider everything. Even a phone call to Nick Saban. All right, it's after further review. Brought to you by Relief Windows, reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank vinyl siding. They do it all. They do it better than anyone. Oh, yeah. They do shutters, too, at Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Hey, remember, with Relief Windows, I tell you all the time, they're never going to be the cheapest. If you're just shopping around, making calls to shop price, don't call Relief Windows. They measure twice, install once. They have measure techs. They have install crews. They have a true service department. It's not the same measure install. They have a service department dedicated just to servicing customers because they're so busy, they got to make sure they keep up with measures and installs and all the other stuff. You'll have an exceptional experience, a beautiful product, and a true lifetime transferable warranty. They're just the best. It's Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Windows, doors, siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters too. Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, y'all, quick break. We'll come back. Ross Jackson will be here. Talk a little who dat. Tyler Shough's going to get the start for a week, for the rest of the season, what's on the line, all that stuff. We'll get to it. It's AFR.
AFR.
Moving through Q4, and a lot of times in Q4 is when you start putting together budgets for the following year. Like we're going through that right now here at Guarantee. We're doing budgets for 2026. This is the time to call Glow Resources. If you're budgeting for 2026 and you're about to make that really important hire, or you know you have an important person in your organization that's going to be leaving for a different job, for whatever reason, maybe you're adding a very important person in your business, Glow Resources can help. GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Glow Resources uses their wide net to find the perfect candidate for your job. And we're not talking temp staff solutions. These are permanent employer solutions here. It's Glow Resources. No matter the type of business you're looking for, Glow Resources can help you find that perfect candidate. glowresources.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6th generation.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Yeah, going into the game, like in those circumstances, I thought I operated well. We just got to keep, trying to find ways to execute at a higher level from an offense perspective. And so I thought his personal operation, I thought was pretty clean.
Kellen Moore talking about Tyler Shough, who saw his first extensive action when he replaced Spencer Rattler in the third quarter of Sunday's loss to the Bucks. And now Tyler Shough is going to get the first start of his career Sunday in Los Angeles against the Rams. Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, and the Locked On Saints podcast. Good enough to hang out with us here for a few minutes. Yo, man, how are you?
Hey, man, doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. Okay, reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of what we expected after the benching took place. I feel like every time that I say the benching, I feel like I'm talking about some kind of like big moment, but really just like in this moment when it came to, Kellen Moore, who had been such a kind of process-driven, process-oriented guy, and then all of a sudden like pulling a starting quarterback in the third quarter and putting the rookie out there, that felt very much like that was the decision right there. And even though after the game, Kellen Moore said, we're going to take some time to think about it, kind of figure this thing out, and then see where they're going to go. He wanted to give it 48 hours, all these other pieces. It still very much felt like this was going to be the course. I think I wrote at LouisianaSports.net that night that, the decision was effectively already made, right? When you have a head coach that talked about not wanting to flip-flop at quarterback and everything, it didn't make sense to then turn around and flip-flop at quarterback. And he was pretty clear, Kellen Moore was, about why he made the decision to pull Spencer Rattler and what he was looking for in his offense. And I think that with all of those things taken into consideration, it felt very much like this was the move that we all expected.
What were those reasons that he made to pull Spencer Rattler at the moment he did?
Yeah, he made a couple of different remarks about turnovers, of course, being a big part of it. Obviously, the team had gone from taking care of the ball really well to turning the ball over 9 times in the last 3 games, 8 times in the last 4. We also mentioned about how he wanted to see more explosiveness in the offense. He had specifically made the decision to change quarterbacks because he wanted to give what he called a spark to the offense. And it feels like there's a lot of different things you can do before swapping out quarterbacks to provide that spark to your offense. And so I had asked him about that on Monday, and he said that they did try a bunch of different things before finally making that decision at quarterback. And so all those things just kind of pile up to let you know not just what the Saints and what Kellen Moore is hoping to get out of Tyler Shough, but clearly what it was that they felt that they were missing in Spencer Rattler. And so all of those things pile up after a 1-7 start for the young quarterback, and he had effectively moved out of the conversation of the guy that's not losing you games to the guy that was committing turnovers and losing efforts, which is going to be looked at as the guy that's losing you games. So I think for all those reasons, those were all different packages or different pieces in our conversations with Kellen Moore about why he made the switch.
Ross, I'm asking your opinion based on what you've seen and then what you know. Do you think Spencer Rattler's opportunity to be the Saints starting quarterback is done?
I don't think it's done as long as I don't think it's done unless Tyler Shough performs well, right? Like, I'm not going to say that it's done because if Tyler Shough goes out there and, either isn't able to be out on the field or doesn't perform well, then I think you end up going back to Spencer Rattler, and he would be the guy that you'd go back to at a later point in the season, and then he would get another opportunity. So I don't think that the job is done, but it's solely now in the hands of Tyler Shough. If Tyler Shough stays on the field and if Tyler Shough performs well while on the field, it's not going to be a big task for him to keep the job here over the course of these next 9 games, thereby giving the Saints the opportunity to have 8 starting games of evaluation on Spencer Rattler from this season, right? 6 from last season as well, but 8 from this year, and then 9 on Tyler Shough throughout the rest of the season. I think the Saints want that. And so unless Tyler Shough doesn't seize this opportunity one way or another, or as soon as he doesn't, then I think that there is an opportunity again for Spencer Rattler to potentially get out there.
Ross has a piece up at LouisianaSports.net right now if you want to read it. It's Tyler Shough's path to becoming the Saints 2026 starter. That's, of course, free always over at LouisianaSports.net. Okay, well, let's talk about Shuck. You got to see him for about a quarter and a half on Sunday. What was your opinion?
Yeah, I thought that he was a guy that in that moment, getting thrown in the second half there, and in that game, he was a guy that was trying to keep his head above water. That's kind of what he felt like to me. I think you still saw the same, similar kinds of pressure and things like that he was under, although he faced less pressure than Spencer Rattler did. But then you also saw an offense that, still went 17 of 30 with him at the helm. Now, it's very different when a quarterback steps in and plays in the second half of the game, and then also has versus when they actually get an opportunity to prepare and be the starter. But I didn't see a ton when it came to that quarter and a half, if you will. There were a couple of really nice throws, though, some good ball placement things that I think as he gets more comfortable with guys like Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Brandon Cooks, or whatever's left of that trio with the trade deadline on the way, like whatever receiving core he has, if he builds more sort of calibration with them in terms of understanding their speed, where they like the ball, all those other things, that some of that stuff will come. But it's going to have to fall into place quickly. It didn't on Sunday up against Tampa. Right now, if the performance that we saw from Tyler Shough on Sunday is the performance that we see from him for the next 9 weeks, I don't think the Saints really move the needle at all, and are probably back in the quarterback conversation this offseason. But it would be unfair of me to kind of transplant that onto his future projection now that he's going to get the opportunity to practice and be with that actual first team, that team that he'll actually be working with on the field. So we'll see if he's able to improve from that. But that starting place certainly gives a baseline that's yearning for improvement for sure.
Just to be clear, do you think Shuck is the starter for the remainder of the season?
I think he has the opportunity to be there. I mean, he's going to be the starter this weekend. I don't think that, based on anything that Kellen Moore has said, basically, he's talked all season about not wanting to flip-flop at quarterback.
Yeah.
And so if they can stay with Tyler Shough, then I think he's safe. Now, he's going to have to earn that, right? He's going to have to play well and earn the opportunity to be out there each week. But I do think that would be the ideal situation for New Orleans from their vantage point, is that he is the starter throughout the rest of the year.
Is the offense any different with Shuck as opposed to Rattler?
It would be, if it is, it's because Shuck is taking more risks than maybe Rattler did during his time. I think the play calling that we've seen between the two is consistent. We've heard some stuff about, there's been criticism lobbied about, open up the playbook for Spencer Rattler. The playbook's open, man. Like everything's there. But I think that the big thing is who takes advantage of what. And so if Tyler Shough goes out there and understands this is his opportunity, right? He's got 9 games at max to prove that he can be the guy in 2026. Otherwise, they're probably drafting somebody else. He should go out there and attack. He should go out there and play risky. He should go out there and be aggressive. That's one of the things that Kellen Moore said he wants in the offense, is for it to be more aggressive, to find more of those explosive plays. And so if it does look different, then I think that it comes down to Tyler Shough taking advantage of more opportunities downfield than Spencer Rattler did. So you'll get a little bit of an immediate comparison there if that happens. The other thing that I would expect is, and the Saints just have to get this figured out anyway, but they've got to fall back into their run game and get that going again in order to be able to support the young quarterback.
How much is that possible this week on the road against the Rams? No Kendre Miller, no Eric McCoy, obviously all the issues they've had.
Yeah, very, very challenging. All of it's going to be very challenging. This is not going to be easy on Tyler Shough, right? He's got 6 of his last 9 games are going to be on the road. He's got division opponents for the majority of those games as well. And he's got a couple of tough opponents coming up in the Rams. And then eventually when that team travels to Tampa to take on the Bucs again, he'll see that defense for a second time, or a first and a half time, if you want to give a little bit of grace there. So I think it's going to be challenging, but it's going to come down to the play calling. I mean, the Saints ran, I think it was just 5 times in the first half, or 5 times in the first quarter, up against Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you're not going to be able to do that. And Alvin Kamara, I think, didn't run at all in the second quarter once. And so you can't do that, right? There's a big difference between your run game not working and you not leaning on your run game and you not calling run plays. Those two are very different. The other thing I'll be interested in seeing is, the Saints sometimes call those RPOs, and so those run plays turn into passing plays. I'm curious if Tyler Shough's decision-making keeps that ball on the ground a little bit more than Spencer Rattler did.
Last thing for you, Ross. 1 week from today, almost to the hour, is the trade deadline. If you would provide an update for us on what we might expect in the next 7 days.
Yeah, the most popular names right now are the couple of wide receivers in Rashid Shaheed, as well as Brandon Cooks. Those are guys that could potentially get moved. There's a lot of conversation about how, Brandon Cooks and that move could be a mutual one. He kind of signed here in New Orleans with with a different expectation of what this team was going to be. It was a Derek Carr-led team that was still looking to compete, all these other things. That's very much not who the Saints are right now. And so is there an opportunity to get that veteran somewhere? By the way, trading Brandon Cooks would make him the most traded player in the NFL, in NFL history.
Oh, wow, okay.
In his
how
career.
many?
Yeah,
Wait, how many?
5th time. It would be the 5th time that he'd be traded. Right now he's tied with Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson and not Hall of Famer Kiko Alonso.
Okay.
So those are the 2 people that he's kind of wrapped up with there. So that would put him up above there. There are a couple other guys on the defensive side that could potentially get moved too. I mean, you're looking at some younger but still veteran players like Isaac Yadam, as well as Pete Werner, and a couple others. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the edge rushers get a little bit of interest as well. But right now, it feels like those wide receivers, Rashid Shaheed and or Brandon Cooks, are kind of the 2 that everybody seems to be most focused on.
LouisianaSports.net and the Locked On Saints podcast, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. He is Ross Jackson. Thank you, man.
Thank you, buddy. You take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Be well. Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. I was over at Parish today. Really excited. We got a very, very cool promotion we're about to announce next week. As a matter of fact, we're here on Monday. We'll make that announcement. It's not another cash giveaway. We've had a lot of fun with those, but this one's going to be a bit more meaningful. I'm excited about it. We've had a great opportunity at Parish to be community-centered, community-oriented. We've made it very intentional that we're going to donate to great charitable causes. We've sponsored the Go Red Women luncheon for women. So many different church and school activities and sports teams, and just try to be very community-oriented. This past weekend, Dutchtown High, their cheerleaders had a fundraiser for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We're proud to sponsor that. We love to be community-involved and community-oriented. We believe that that's a service, a way that we can continue to give back to the communities that we serve. And we got a really, really special one, I think, that you're going to like. We're going to announce that coming up on Monday here on AFR. So, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need a free, no-obligation roofing inspection, we'd love to help you out. Commercial or residential, repairs, replacements, we do it all. ParishBuilt.com, ParishBuilt.com. Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing, ParishBuilt.com. Okay, Frank Wilson, LSU's interim head coach, is going to be meeting with reporters a little more than an hour from right now when the Tigers get off the practice field. Unfortunately, I won't be there because I'm here. But when we come back, I do want to answer the question many of you have asked. Can Frank Wilson earn the full-time job? I'll give you my thoughts on it next on AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. When was the last time you had your heater looked over? Cleaned, tuned up, inspected? Can you remember? Now, if you're like me and you're part of the River City's 1 Hour Air Maintenance Club, they call you every year to do this inspection. They do it for free because it's complimentary seasonal maintenance when you're part of their membership club, which I always recommend. Eric and I are part of the membership club. Highly recommend it. Just the seasonal maintenance alone pays for the membership club. So anyway, plus you also get membership club pricing. You get front-of-the-line service, discounts, all kind of stuff. But if you can't remember the last time you had your heater serviced, the time is now. Mention the show. They'll knock $30 off the price. 752-0001. 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dosequis.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We ride back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night. Climb up in the loft, sit and talk with the radio.
All right, glad you're with us here. We always appreciate our friends over at Sunshine. I get to pass the new Sunshine office coming soon right there in Baton Rouge as we get off of Piku as it continues going up every single day. Can't wait for that to be open. We can tell you about it. But you can always get by. Tractors and combines, all your farm equipment, you know that, but also zero-turn mowers, gators. It's hunting season. Sunshine. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Bunky and below. You want a deer, you're going to one place. You're going to Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Title sponsor of our Tuesday shows. Tuesday, LSU's back on the practice field. After practice, Frank Wilson will meet with reporters for the first time as LSU's interim head football coach. And as we've gone through the betting odds, Frank Wilson is a notable omission on the list. As we've talked about candidates and people have thrown out names like Lane Kiffin and Dan Lanning, we even had a conversation about, would Nick Sabin entertain coming back for a short-term deal? John Summerall, Dan Mullen, Eli Drinkwitz, Jed Fish, a lot of the names that you've heard and we know. You don't hear people commonly asking about Frank Wilson. And I understand it. I do. LSU is a premier job in college football. It is undeniably and inarguably a top 10 job in the country. You're not going to find 10 other jobs with more resources, more history, tradition, support, all of it than LSU. And considering what I often say, it's the only Power 5 in a talent-rich state, and the only other school that can claim that is Ohio State. There's a lot of reasons why this is a premier job and would attract premier candidates. I'll remind you, though, my mantra during coaching searches: believe nothing, consider everything. And when I say consider everything, consider everything. I mean, Ed Ogeron got the job after being the interim. They targeted Tom Herman. You can laugh all you want with the benefit of hindsight. But the bottom line is they had a verbal agreement with Tom Herman to be the head coach. And when that fell apart, Joe Oliva rushed Ed Ogeron to the podium instead of conducting a complete and full search or going to anybody else. Anything is possible, including Frank Wilson being the head coach at LSU. But I'm going to continue to reiterate this point as well. Who is making this hire is the key point. Now, I've made it very clear my feelings on Scott Woodward. I think he is an excellent athletics director, and I hope he continues to serve as LSU's athletic director. As a Baton Rouge native, an LSU alum who loves the school, wants to be here, and has done an outstanding job of hiring coaches, of generating revenue, of advancing facilities. Like, he's done everything you want an athletic director to do. The knock that people mention is, well, Jimbo's contract and Brian Kelly's contract. And I'll continue to remind you, because narratives are fun and people believe him in the echo chamber. The Jimbo Fisher contract was not Scott Woodward. Ross Bjork is the one that gave Jimbo the extension after they won 9 games in the fake COVID year, and that's what they got saddled with in College Station, not the original contract that Scott gave him. Brian Kelly, it fell apart. All thought it was a great hire at the time. Clearly wasn't. Okay. You'll own that. But I think Scott Woodward is super respected as an outstanding athletic director. I hope he keeps the job. I do not have confidence that he will or belief that he will. I was asked point blank earlier today, do I think someone other than Scott Woodward will make this hire and LSU will have a new athletics director? I do, to be very clear. I'm not reporting news. I'm telling you what is my opinion. I'm going to be very clear throughout this whole thing when I'm giving you an opinion and when I'm reporting news to you, when I'm providing you information. I'm giving you my opinion based on a lot of different conversations I've had. I do believe that the governor of the state of Louisiana is going to wield a lot of influence in putting the new president in place in the next few weeks. I believe one of the first duties that president is going to do is to replace the athletic director. I do believe that's going to happen. That is my opinion. I do not want that to happen. I want Scott Woodward to remain the athletic director, but I do not think that's going to happen. So, is a new athletics director in place in time to make the hire? Who is that person? Is that athletics director not hired in time? And then what type of athletic director can you really hire if they're not going to have autonomy to hire a football coach? There's a lot of things that are interwoven into this, a lot of dominoes that need to fall here. You need a new president, what's going to happen with the athletic director, and then hire a new coach, and all do it before December. So this is going to move quickly. But there's a few things that we've talked about. Number one is the finances of it that we all know. You have a massive financial hit with paying this buyout. So if you're looking to go, I'd say bargain shopping, but I think you understand what I mean. If you're not looking to go throw $100 million at a coach and hire someone for a more sensible rate, Frank Wilson is a check there. It's not going to cost you $10 million a year over 10 years to hire Frank Wilson. It's very fair to wonder what type of coach could you lure right now as you start to have these conversations, right? Hypothetically, not hypothetically, like you are making calls. And I don't know if it's Verge Osbury, Austin Thomas, Scott Woodward, members of the board, boosters. Like, no doubt, whatever formal or informal committee LSU has put together, you're already making calls to agents to gauge interest. What high-level coaches are going to be really interested not knowing what athletic director they're going to work for? It's a very fair question, which could shallow out your pool. How much are you willing to spend? Who is going to be the athletic director? Like, the answers to these questions, or not knowing the answers to these questions, could thin out the potential list of candidates. You know who will take the job, regardless of how much it pays and who the AD is? Frank Wilson. You know who's the guy that understands recruiting and culture and all those things? Frank Wilson. Yeah, I'm not sitting here today lobbying for Frank to get the job. But there's a lot of things where you can look and say, is there a path? Oh, yeah, there's a path. We saw it in 2016. But the thing he's got to do over the next month is win 4 games. If they win the next 4 games after losing 3 on the road, if they go to Tuscaloosa and win, and then come home and beat Arkansas and Western Kentucky, and then go to Norman and win, and Frank is 4-0, and salvages this thing from what we saw against Texas A&M, there's going to be a tremendous groundswell of support internally for Frank Wilson. From the players, from their families, recruits, and yes, boosters and admins that love him. That could be a real thing. Now, his head coaching record is nothing to write home about. He coached at UTSA and McNeese. Got fired at both. Clearly, those places didn't have the resources, never will, even remotely close to what you'd have at LSU. And again, this is not my choice. My choice is Dan Lanning. I want to see LSU spend $100 million and get Dan Lanning here. That's my choice. Let Dan Lanning come here and be your Kirby for the next 15, 20 years. That's my choice. That's my number one choice. I don't know if that's realistic, but I am trying like hell to make that happen. That's my choice. But if you're asking the question, is there a path, is there a way that this could happen, that Frank could become the coach? Oh, yeah. Believe nothing, consider everything, including Frank Wilson being the full-time head coach at LSU. But again, how much are you willing to spend? Who is making the hire? Until you know the answer to those two questions, it's impossible to know what the answer to the question is going to be of who LSU's next coach is. But if you don't think there's at least a possibility of Frank Wilson getting this job, I'd caution you on that. I don't think it's likely, and I don't think it's going to happen. But is there a path? Oh, yeah. And it starts a week from Saturday when they play in Tuscaloosa. You win that game, it gets real interesting. Because you should beat Arkansas and Western Kentucky in Tiger Stadium. And that sets up a dramatic final weekend of the regular season in Norman, Oklahoma, where he could be coaching for that job. It's after further review brought to you by First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com, FirstSouthLand.com. Thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. Again, FirstSouthLand.com. Hey, y'all, hunting season is here. You know that. So many of you share hunting leases. If you're tired of that, hunting on someone else's property, someone else nabbing the big buck, let that be a thing of the past. Get your own hunting property. Let First South Farm Credit help make it happen. You want to buy land? First South Farm Credit has helped Louisianians buy land for more than 100 years. They do one thing, they do it better than anyone. They help Louisianians buy land, but not just in Louisiana. They have branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and they can help you buy land anywhere in the lower 48. Anywhere in the lower 48. It's First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com. That's FirstSouthLand.com. And Frank Wilson will be meeting with reporters 1 hour from right now. If there's anything that comes of that while we're still on air, we'll certainly share it with you. Let me knock out a quick break. Used to do Tigers in the Pros, Sean Salsbury in 15 minutes. Ton to do. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
After further review.
Man, I had a great time this morning. I got to be a guest on the Alligator Shoes podcast with my friend Michael Hackett, and we recorded the podcast over at The Garage. That's Gordon McKernan's studio. I tell you all the time about how Gordon gives back to the community. Well, The Garage is a fully outfitted podcast video studio that he lets people use for free. Like, no catch, totally free. Just go to the website, you can sign up and reserve time, and they'll produce a podcast for you for free. It's a gorgeous space, by the way. Had a great time there. I texted Gordon after. I was like, hey, man, we got to do a show in The Garage. That place is awesome. Anyway, just another way of the many different ways that Gordon gives back to the community. We talk all the time about the laptop giveaway at graduation, the bicycle giveaway, which is coming up here around the holidays, the many NIL deals he's done, The Garage, which he's put on loan to the city. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
While Louisiana politics can seem like they're from another planet, Moon Griffon isn't afraid to bring politicians back down to earth. Listen to the Moon Griffon Show weekday mornings at 9 on Talk 107.3.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport.
That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead...
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Had to run a few errands last night after the show, so I usually put Drew in the car and we drive around a little bit. Actually went over to see the Terriers last night. But on the way, we were listening to 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. We had the Pelicans on. They're playing the Celtics. They got blown out 122-90. But got to hear Graf.
Front court left, sizing up Sadiq Bey. Pick from Garza. Brown pops one to Garza for three. Yikes.
Let me tell you
if
something.
Luka Garza's making threes, we might as well go home.
I watched him in his warm-ups, and he couldn't buy one.
First made three of the year.
Oh, God, they're so good. I mean, the Pelicans are a disaster. Zion's hurt. They can't win a game. It's the same thing. Willie doesn't have a clue. Their rotation stink. They stink. It's the same thing. They're awful. But listening to Graf and JD is just... So I texted Muse. I was like, going to Sterlitz, 7:42 p.m. Like, the Garza 3. Pull the audio.
Graf goes, yikes.
Oh, my God. I'm at the corner of Airline and Highland at a red light, just belly laughing, texting you.
Oh, man.
Like, I can laugh at the great thing about the Pelicans stinking is I knew they were going to stink, and I have no expectation. I refuse to let them hurt me. Like, we talked at the beginning of the season. I refuse to let them hurt me anymore. I'm just expecting they're going to be awful. It's just what it's going to be. And so I'll just have when we have micro wins, I'll enjoy them. And I'm going to enjoy the hell out of listening to Graf all year. I mean, game 3 out of 82, dying with a Garza 3 in the first half. I mean,
the first half.
A beautiful thing. A beautiful thing. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, Dan Quinn met with reporters.
Can we get Graf an Evermore deal, by the way? Get Graf and JD some water up there.
Why not? Met with reporters on Tuesday and updated the status of Jaden Daniels. Remember, Daniels missed the game Monday night with a hamstring injury. Quinn says he had a good rehab session on Sunday. They're back out at practice on Wednesday, and they plan on Jaden Daniels being out there with them. He's missed 3 starts this year, 2 due to the knee, 1 Monday night due to the hamstring. Be great to see him get back out there. NBA action, a little LSU on LSU last night down in Houston. The Brooklyn Nets and Cam Thomas versus Tari Eason and the Rockets. We'll start with Tari Eason as he played 26 minutes off the bench and was Houston's leading scorer in the ball game. Matter of fact, he was the game's leading scorer. 22 points on 8 of 12 shooting. Nailed 5 threes, 5 boards, 5 assists. How about a cool plus 21 for Tari Eason in a huge Rockets win? Cam Thomas on the other side, not his most prolific scoring night. 3 of 9 for 9 points. Naz Reid.
Should have stayed.
Oh, should he have ever. 27 minutes for him off the bench. 18 and 7 for Naz.
Would have been 19 and 8.
Efforts fell a little short. The Timberwolves dropped, but a good 7 for 12 shooting night for Naz Reid. He just continues to produce up there for the Wolves. And then Duop Reith. He got in late. Got in late for the Blazers' victory over the Lakers. Took one shot. It was a three. He nailed it. 3 points for Duop Reeves. He continues to carve out a role there and stay relevant in the NBA. That's Tigers in the Pros.
I want to go to Supper Club right now. I want to leave the show right now and go to Supper Club. That's what I want to do. I'm looking at this menu. Truffled lobster gnocchi. Erica's had that before. It's house-made gnocchi, sauteed in a black truffle Parmesan cream sauce, topped with a whole pound of de-shelled lobster, and then sprayed with truffle oil. You hungry? Oh, Supper Club. My goodness. Chef Layton outdoes himself every single day. If you've had everything on the menu like I have, they always have creative new items. Bison, seasonal favorites. I mean, we talk all the time about the steaks, and there's tons of reason to talk about the steaks at Supper Club because they're amazing. And we talk a lot about the ambiance, which is just unlike any other. The food, oh my God. The spirit selection's incredible. I mean, their wine library. You want a $10,000 bottle of wine, they got it. You want all your favorites, they got those too. You want every premium whiskey, they got it. They got all your favorites too. My goodness, the food. SupperClubBTR.com. SupperClubBTR.com for your reservation. Or just walk in, belly up to the bar tonight. Always open seating at the bar at Supper Club. SupperClubBTR.com. All right, y'all. Sean Salsbury is going to be here right after the top of the hour. I got to get Sean's thoughts on the Saints benching Spencer Rattler for Tyler Shough and talk about the Tigers as well. We have not talked at all about the loss to Texas A&M. New offensive coordinator, new play caller. Is there merit in seeing a change at quarterback with Michael Van Buren? I'll ask Sean Salsbury his thoughts on that as well. So a lot to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here. Hour 3 of AFR presented by Sunshine, coming up right after SportsCenter.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's. Hey, remember this Thursday, 2 days away, Thursday, Harold Perkins will be at the Rouse's, Burbank and Lee, from 6 to 7 p.m. signing autographs. Very cool. Perk, number 7. Go get a picture. Go get autographs from Perk, courtesy of Dr. Pepper, this Thursday over at the Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. Bring the kiddos on by to meet Harold Perkins again this Thursday over at the Rouse's, Burbank and Lee from 6 until 7 p.m. Of course, while you're there, pick up all your groceries over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints, rouses.com. If you need all your beers or your bourbons or your wine, they got a great selection. Remember, they're 3 for $4. The more you buy, the more you save. Allows you to try a lot of new, interesting wines as well over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. And Harold Perkins will be at Rouse's on the corner of Burbank and Lee Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Heat guard Terry Rozier on leave amid allegations he manipulated his performance in a March 2023 NBA game as part of gambling schemes, was facing an $8 million tax lien from the IRS in November of that same year, according to county clerk records obtained by ESPN. Shohei Ohtani's unique talents on full display tonight as a pitcher and batter when he starts on the mound for the Dodgers in Game 4 of the World Series versus Shane Bieber and the Blue Jays. ESPN radio coverage in 1 hour. Dodgers up 2-1 after last night's win in 18 innings. So what impact might that 6-hour game have on the teams? ESPN MLB analyst Eduardo Perez.
Today, I expect runs. I expect a lot of runs today. The bullpens, they're depleted. They're exhausted. Hitters are starting to recognize the pitching. Now everyone has been exposed to this World Series. To me, the hitters are going to be on. The pitchers are going to be exhausted. It's going to be a hitters galore.
NBA Oklahoma City center Chet Holmgren back tightness out tonight versus the Kings.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you're driving home with us. Tigers on the practice field right now for the first time under interim head coach Frank Wilson. Frank set to meet with reporters here in about 45 minutes, roughly, when they get off the practice field. So we'll hear what he has to say. Sean Salsbury joins us as he does every Tuesday. Great to chat, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, Matt. How are you, buddy?
Busy. Let me start with a reaction, man, to the Brian Kelly news.
I think it was expected. I know you and I talked at the beginning of the year about this situation and all the money he made. There's no way. Well, I guess there is way. James Franklin, him, Jimbo Fisher, when they want you out, they want you out. I don't ever like to. It's a tough business. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't know, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I just always wonder, Matt, with this situation, it felt like, now that you look back, good football coach, has had success wherever he's been, but was it a normal and natural fit when he walked in the building? The answer appears to be no. And one thing about Brian, and we've talked about, knows offense and the rest of it, but the offense, when you know offense and that's your baby, and obviously with his coordinator going as well, when you're the head coach and they look there and you say, well, why isn't that thriving, especially with a quarterback that was expected to be the top 10 pick and may still be, depending on what goes on between now and then. But I think the one thing, if you're going to be abrasive and quite frankly at times alienate players and possibly coaches at times, and Brian's had a history of this, of when he leaves the building, it's rare that I hear people singing his praises. I've never played for him. I know him, but I don't know in depth with him because I haven't spent a lot of time with him. But I rarely hear people singing praises about him, about how he treats them. And if you're going to be average, and they're below average this year, this is a very overrated football team right now. And for whatever reason, if you want to call it injuries, if you want to call it lack of production, coaching problems, lack of buy-in, lack of leadership, whatever, is that if you're going to have it like that, the abrasiveness, which I'm from that era of abrasive, but you also got to be able to adjust and understand your personnel if you're Brian. It doesn't bother me, but it apparently will bother some of them. If you're going to be that way, you better win. And you better win a lot. And, Matt, I'll ask you this question. I was thinking about this not just with him, but I think about this with coaches, with all the money we pay them now. When a player in the NBA or Major League Baseball or NIL or college football or NFL signs a new big contract and struggles, what's the first thing we say? Fat and happy.
Yeah, got paid.
Got paid.
On, yeah.
Got the bag. A little lackadaisical, a little too casual. Whether it's true or not, that's the perception. When money comes and struggle. Now, Brian's been paid other places, but when he got this gig, why don't we ever look at maybe a James Franklin, maybe a Brian Kelly, or anybody else, whether it's 5 million, 10 million, whatever it is, and think that aren't coaches allowed? I mean, not allowed, but don't they get, we just assume with coaches, oh, they're tough guys and they're mentally tough. They would never take for granted the money that comes in their way and get too comfortable. Are we sure of that? Because I'm watching a lot of college football and NFL Sundays that I see a lot of lack of buy-in. There's worse than there is good all over Saturdays and Sunday, littered. The lack of mechanics, the lack of consistent execution, the up and down one week, you're good the next week, the consistency. And so I'm saying, well, if the players are lacking consistency, is something missing on the practice field? Is something missing from the coaching, the disconnect? And it's hard on coaches. We don't have relationships anymore. You get a guy, you bench him, he transfers. You come in, the guy gets more money. He goes to Michigan before he's even set foot on campus. You get a coach, he comes in, oh, this is my dream job, and 2 years later, he's got his other dream job. So the crisscross and the back and forth, we don't have relationships. When I was playing the relationship with John Robbins, he was like a second dad to me, although I always knew that it was, if you weren't playing well, I could still bench you, yet even if he did that, you loved him and want to run through a wall for him. I always say this, if you want to know how a coach has treated his players or how they feel about him, go talk to the guys that aren't playing. Go talk to them. Go talk to the guy who transferred. Does he still like it? Go talk to the quarterback who struggled and got benched or maybe got his job back, not just the starters who are thriving. So in this case, I think it takes a unique guy to be the head coach at LSU, and I mean that as affectionate and positive. I think you have to understand the culture there, not only at LSU, but the community. I think it was square. Now that I look back, square peg, round hole. Brian belongs more at the University of Wisconsin, at Notre Dame, at Penn State, just with where it is. It's just the way it is. And we are at that point in time that if you can't, with player empowerment, win them over. I didn't say kiss their rear end. I said win them over and get buy-in. You can't sustain great play. He had great players there. There is no excuse. Well, it's LSU. We don't give. You got everything at your disposal. So why can't coaches, or why don't we just give coaches the hard time we give players when they get paid? How do we know all of them are always buying in 100% of the time? And how do we know they're all in 100% of the time? Don't they get a little comfortable too and fat and happy? Brian Kelly had to go. The LSU needs a change up, and it had to happen.
So they've also fired Joe Sloan.
Yep.
They got a week and a half now to get ready to go play in Tuscaloosa, and Alex Atkins is going to call plays. Former offensive lineman, run game coordinator. That's his background. How much can changing the OC matter in the final four games?
Not much. How much can change when a head coach and interim coach comes in? like we've talked about in the NFL, usually those guys get fired. And there will be a new LSU head coach, even if this guy goes 4-0 and they average 450 yards a game and they win 35-7 every week. He will not be the next head coach. So they're going to have 3 coaches in a month and a half. That's just the facts. I mean, unless the AD and all of a sudden says, let's try this. Let's go on the cheap. We can get this one for $4 million or $3 million a year. He did a good job. The players seem to buy it. But even if he gets a ton of buy-in, and he very well may. One thing I know about guys who coach offensive line and have that background, players will do anything for them usually. They will. Even if they're not coached by that position, they're just a different cat. Now, what he's about to face is something, and Matty, you tell me, I don't believe he's called plays at any point in time in his career, correct? At any high level, correct?
So Frank, So Frank Wilson is the interim head coach. Alex Atkins is going to be the OC.
No, I'm talking about the coordinator.
Yeah.
Frank's the head coach. But I'm talking about, I was separating both. I said, when you're the interim head coach, he's going to be out. And I should have broke down when you're the play caller is an offensive line background.
Correct.
But what I'm saying is the head coach, Frank, is not going to be the head coach in 2020. So regardless of what happens. And with an offensive line coach coaching, people buy into those guys because they know they go to war with them, to battle with them.
So Alex Atkins has been a play caller. He was a play caller at Charlotte, and then he was the OC at Florida State under Norvell.
Okay.
But
he didn't call the plays at Florida State.
I think they shared play calling duties. Maybe 1 year on, and then 1 year was Norvell.
So to answer your question, can it change? Philosophy can. I don't know if production can.
Okay.
I mean, offensive line. And now, when we say can production, I'm talking about quantum leaps. They are who they are. Now, if he gets into a rhythm and there is a commitment to running the football and they move the line of scrimmage, because it goes back to the physicality. Are they good enough to push the line of scrimmage and dominate the line of scrimmage? Regardless of the play calls are all fine and dandy. I can tell you this, Jimmys and Joes are far better than the X's and O's. They just are. You can have the greatest play call in the world, and if guys don't buy into it, set up for the right defensive structure, and you run a play and they don't believe in it, you'll have trouble executing. I've also been in a huddle where guys said, man, the play call comes in, and then you look at the defense and they, you're sitting there at the line of scrimmage, let's call it and run it where we don't want to audible, and it's 3rd and 3, and they got a 6-man, 7-man front, and we got 5 to block them. And they bring their own BYOB, bring your own blocker, and you get the first down because the attitude was, we love the play call here, let's go do it. So that part can change. But I rarely see, oh my gosh, wow factor changes because you've been in the building. And how much can you change? Commitment to something, but you're not going to change verbiage and all that stuff at this stage. Right. It'll just be, okay, we need to run the ball more. We need to max protect more and keep Nusmeier upright. We need to throw it more on first down, run it more on 3rd and 5, whatever their philosophy. Can it change? Sure. And maybe for LSU, there can be quantum leaps because we haven't seen the explosion of their offense on a week-to-week consistent basis 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row. So while changes, it's really hard to teach the mechanics of a position and to completely 180-degree flip your philosophy. But what happens in this situation if you didn't like what was going on as a player and buy in again, I use it all the time, that an attitude change, results can change. Because it looked to me like this was a team that didn't believe they were going to beat many people watching them the last couple of weeks. And having an offensive line coach with that background who has called plays, and now that you brought it up at Florida State and where he was before. So this isn't some guy that's like, well, I know X's and O's, but this is my first time getting to a rhythm. So that'll be fine. And Frank is head coach who's, been a coach for, has been a coach in the league and has seen every aspect. But you're there you're auditioning for your next gig and to hope you make a huge impact that they'll at least interview you. But they're going to go after a big money guy like they do and a guy that's got name value, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, in my mind.
He's Sean Salsbury. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you check him out on YouTube as well. It's Unpaved. Sean, I want to ask a follow-up, one more on the offense. Let me break so we stay on time, but I want to ask you about Garrett Nusmeier because there have also been some rumblings about possibly making a change there and giving Michael Van Buren a shot. I want to get Sean's take on that, and then we'll talk about Tyler Shough. Quarterback changes everywhere. Tyler Shough getting the start this weekend for the New Orleans Saints. It's after further review. More Sean Salsbury next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, brokered by LPT Realty. Think of the selling your home. You need to call Darren James because Darren James will sell your home fast for the most amount of money. You want to make sure you walk away with as much as possible at closing? You want Darren James. Agent225.com. 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 One more time, agent225.com. That's the website for Darren James. Darren has his guaranteed sale program. Hire Darren. You're going to sit down. You agree to a price and a deadline. If Darren doesn't sell your home at that price by that deadline, he'll have your home bought with cash or he'll sell it absolutely free. There is no catch. Call Darren today and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. You need to sell your home. You need Darren James, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Always appreciate Sean Salsbury for hanging out with us. We do it every Tuesday. Talk a little football. He's on Twitter at Sean Unfiltered. Make sure you get him there. Subscribe to Unpaved there on YouTube. You get the link through Sean's Twitter as well, at Sean Unfiltered. Sean went to break. I wanted to ask, we were talking about could the OC change sort of stimulate this LSU offense over the final month. What about quarterback? As I understand it, there has been some talk over the weekend, learned internally, there are some coaches on staff that would like to see a quarterback change and Michael Van Buren given a shot. To be very clear, I do not know if that's going to happen. I'm comfortable saying that I know there are coaches on staff who want that to happen. Could that make a difference?
Maybe. And Matt, you know of my affection for Nusmeier and his grind and his competitiveness and all those things that I probably don't even need to qualify. But are they getting better? That's what and I know we can all, and unfortunately at this position, we could say, well, they're not blocking for him or, they're not running the ball, or the coach got fired, the coordinator got fired. Let's see what happens there. And that may be the case. They may say, let's go and see if the change sparks him and the group. But what happens is that's part of the responsibility you take at the position. It sucks. It's great when it's going good, but they all look to you to make the guard better and make the wide receiver better. Whether that's fair or not, it's not fair. And that's just the way it is. But so I also ask, if I'm a coach, are we getting better? And you're seeing it with the Saints, and I know we're going to talk about in a second.
Yep.
This offense has taken a step back for whatever reason this year. And when you're the quarterback, and I can speak to it because I was there, highly recruited, you get injured a couple times, played well one year, the next year played pretty good, and then you're going and things aren't going well. My senior year, coming off an injury, a blown out knee, and rehab it, come in that year, start off, things are going pretty well. By the end of the season, last 2 games, you get benched. Rodney Peete came in, and that was it for me. And, I was there, but Rodney Peete, so I've lived it. And there were some that still wanted me to play, but they needed a spark. And in truth, they should have. There was time, because I'd gone through the lull, and I just hadn't got back into that rhythm for a couple games. We were getting ready to play a rival and had been banged up, and Rodney waited an opportunity, and we needed a guy who had better movement. And Rodney had a great career. And at the time, it stings, and Rodney's one of my best friends. They should have made the move. And I'll fight it. I didn't think at the time, but you know what? We need a spark, and it gave him one. He played pretty damn well, and the rest is history for his career. So at SC, so I got it. Then you get rejuvenated to get yourself better or whatever. And it's not that you lost talent; it's just you get caught in a funk. We've all been there. It's like having having the yips when you're putting. It happens. So looking back, it was the right move. And as much as I hate to say it, the question is, while loyalty, all that matters, the bottom line is, are we doing what we need to do? And it starts there. It just always does, whether it's him or not. So I believe it's okay to make a change and see. Doesn't mean it's a lifetime sentence, and it doesn't mean it's the rest of the year. But spark is a must. People kept telling me Russ Wilson. I said, let me tell you what, they should have started Jackson Dart from the beginning. A different spark. You and I've had the conversation, and he gave it to him, and they're better. So doesn't mean Russ Wilson isn't good. And it doesn't mean Nusmeier. But I have lived exactly what Nusmeier's going through. Higher expectations coming in. We're powerhouse, and you're going to be a top pick. Next thing you know, things aren't going well. And the first place you have to look is coach and quarterback. Even if the offense is struggling or the defense is struggling, well, the quarterback's got to score more. That's just how we look at it in society. I would anticipate that room is divided, and I'm sure it was when I was at the end of my career at SC, and it's divided a lot of places. You know what? The loyalty is to the football team, not to the quarterback. And you can't worry about hurting people's feelings. They need a spark, and if a change works, we see it all the time. It may be the change they need to salvage what's left of a season, which doesn't diminish or shrink Nusmeier's career or how good he can be. And it may be a kick in the rear end to everybody else and him. If it can happen to him, it can happen to any of us.
It's a good transition to talk about the Saints, where they've announced Tyler Shough is going to start Sunday at the Rams. They're 1-7, man. Is this the right time, the right move?
Yeah, it is. You got to see.
Yeah.
You got to see it. And once again, it applies to Rattler. Hell, the guy's 2 years into his career. He's seen failure and success. He should be able to handle the benching. Why? It's hit him before. And so while you don't like it, you're more equipped to handle it when it comes back around. And how you deal with it's not just the benching. Now what's he do to deal with it, just like he did when he was in college and lost his job there and ended up transferring? Sure. How's he going to deal with it? That's the test of what the next level of his career is. But it's time. They're 1-7. Tyler didn't play great when he came in. He didn't play good. He played okay and made mistakes, looked like a rookie quarterback. Yeah. But now he's going to get the reps and get a chance to work with the first team and come out of the tunnel. It has to happen. And once again, haven't played it, know how difficult it is to be good. But I also understand the benching. I also understand the starting. We're not in the feel-good business. And right now the Saints are pretty putrid. They are not very good offensively. They do not, while it's not just him, look at the numbers. If you look at the numbers, didn't look at the wins and losses, that guy's worthy of more starts. We've had the conversation, but at what point in time are you going to find out where you got to go? Now you get the second half of the season. If Tyler plays good or does what Rattler does, then you're going to face with the decision the next 3 months after the season to say, okay, we're going to be picking high. What are we doing? But I can't go into next year. I could if it's 7-1. or 5-2, not knowing who Tyler Shough is, and wouldn't matter. Sit down like the rest of us and wait your turn. Rattler's playing great, but it's not. And so you got him there. You got to make a change. Once again, that's where we go first. And I got to know, especially at 1-7, what are we going to look like next year? If we go 1-7 the next 8 games, and he's playing average, sometimes good, then you got to decide our future's not on this roster. It's got to be somebody else. And maybe it is, and you just say, well, we still need more. We got to have better players around him. Fine. But this decision has to happen. You have to see if you can get spark. It's odd that it's happening in the same area, in the same state with 2 teams that I know that the LSU had higher expectations. So I got to see what he's about, Matt. I just do. And feelings be damned. Unfortunately, nobody really cares about those when it comes to making decisions because LSU wants to win and so does the Saints. Tyler Shough has to play. This is the right decision to see if you can get spark. You owe it to the team. It's always them first. It has to be when you are making these decisions, not to the individual. You just can't do it that way.
Sean, the Saints are awful. Like,
yeah, they are.
Their offensive line is not good. You lost your starting center. You're void of playmakers, and you're shopping them, also your receivers right now, with the trade deadline in a week. Like, I don't think they're not going to win a damn thing with Tyler Shough. My question, though, is, so that being the case, what actually would be something you would look for to say, like, some tangible thing to say, okay, we think they're making progress with Shuck that wasn't there with Rattler? Because I don't think it's going to be materially different in the win-loss record.
It's not. And that's what and if you get a couple, great. If you steal 1 or 2, because they're an awful football team right now in a lot of ways. And the fire sale part of it is if they can ship off salaries and get somebody and start to accumulate Oklahoma City basketball, Houston Rockets in the past assets, so they got 25, I'm overdoing it, a little hyperbolic, then they're going to do it because they're a hard watch on the eyes. They just are. And what you have to, and this is where the expertise of whether it's a front office or Kellen Moore or the staff is going to, it's the old forest through the trees. Even though, and we see this sometimes, a team will go in and you'll say, well, wins and losses, we may not be very good, but a couple things I want to see. How are we responding to the ass kickings? How are we dealing with it every week in our preparation? Knowing. And then can you see with Tyler, are we going to be able to see, okay, had this have been different, his decision was right. You're looking, listen, production's not going to elevate through the roof. They're just not good enough. So you're starting to say, okay, if we're not looking at the production and wins and losses, are we seeing, okay, in this decision, he made a good decision, threw it to the right guy dropped it. He understood what audible check to get to, but he missed the throw.
Okay.
I'm looking for the deeper dive of, there's not a lot of mechanical changes you can make during the season. You're just trying to put a game plan in and survive. And he knows going that he's going to have to survive. Now, he's probably thinking, I'm going to go in the raw, I'm going to get after it, and we're going to go. And every quarterback has the confidence to say, I'm going to be the reason why it changes. And if you don't, I don't want you to play anyway. So it's not going to be in the win-loss column. It's going to be it's not going to just be in yards per game. It's going to be in how you handle, and quite frankly, in this, how you handle what you're about to face. And that's going to be a lot of duress. It's going to be a lot of adversity. It's going to be a lot of angst. It's going to be a lot of misses. It's going to be a lot of playing catch-up. How he deals with that. And it sucks for Saints fans and for him and the team trying to figure it out. But as a coach, knowing you're not very good and you're going to get a little hall pass from your front office,
sure,
you're looking to say, okay, this is behind those closed doors when they talk, this is a good test. I want to see, because this is the worst of times if you're a quarterback. Can't block, can't run it, can't throw it very well, not a lot of big plays, and you're shipping from players off. And it may get worse because you may trade some good players for assets down the road. So if you're Shough, your thought is, don't get us beat with my decisions mentally. 2 is show them I can handle getting my rear end handed to me. We've seen it before. Get sacked 11 times like Aikman did early on and keep delivering the football and stand in there. Because in the long run, as Dan Fouts told me, your leadership is not by 450-yard passing games. It's by what are you doing when you put your foot in the ground and stare down a rush, deliver the football instead of bail out and cower out of it and get hit in the mouth and deliver the football. Those guys up front, it changes their thought process. And so those are the things you're looking for. And I know myself, I'm judging a lot harder as a coach when it's bad. When it's good, we can all play. Hell, all of us are good. When it's bad, so and Shook's going to face it in a tough situation. It could end up being a really good thing for him, because what do you got to lose? Another game. What do you got to gain? Well, you can turn into, I don't want to say a hero, but turn into somebody they say, we're not drafting a quarterback next year. Yeah. We saw enough of his grind to tell him that he can move forward with this.
Saints are a 13.5-point dog in LA.
That's like being a 35-point underdog in college on Saturday. That's what it's like.
By the way, the Saints are also 24th in the NFL in scoring defense. They're just an awful football team, but at least a reason to be interested this weekend looking at Tyler Shough make his first start. He's Sean Salsbury.
Yeah, I feel bad for all those guys because I've lived it, brother. Not on bad teams like that, but I've lived it where you're just struggling and you can't make a 3-foot putt unless it takes 3 putts. And but you learn a lot about teams and players through all this, and coaching staffs as well.
Hey man, I've done that 3-foot putt 3 times thing too. I've lived that life.
Dude, I'll see you and I'll raise you one. I've 4-putted from 8 feet, so I know all about it, brother. I know what that's like.
You're the best, man. Thanks so much for the time as always. We
appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Of course, that's Sean Salsbury. I'll get him at Sean Unfiltered, and make sure you're subscribed on YouTube to Unpaved. Just incredible insight. So lucky to have him join us every week here on AFR. Hey, we're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. Tell you all the time, if it's on the lot, it's online at SouthPointVW.com. So you can go look at new or certified pre-owned inventory. Just go to the website. There's new or used. You just hit search inventory right there. Like the certified pre-owned, for example, it's not just Volkswagens. I mean, think about it. People go and they buy their new vehicle, so they trade in their old vehicle. Yeah, I mean, they got a great selection of certified pre-owned Volkswagens, but it's all different makes and models. Like I'm looking right here at the website. There's a 2021 Audi Q3. There's a 2020 Nissan Pathfinder, a 2022 Toyota Camry, all different makes and models. A 2020 Subaru Outback. Go check them out right now. New or certified pre-owned at SouthPointVW.com. SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? Okay, y'all, by the way, Frank Wilson's media availability got moved up to 5 p.m., so it should be done. Let's check and see, Muse, if we can. It was supposed to be 5:45. Apparently, they got off the practice field early and moved up the availability, a little lighter work day today. So we'll comb through it, see if Coach Frank had anything, what of note he had to say, and we'll dive into that as we continue here. Stay with us. It's AFR.
AFR.
You know, I love having the opportunity every day to endorse great businesses and great business owners. And I've always believed that, you know, in my role, you pick good businesses to endorse. They'll do great work for your people. And then you have this amazing symbiotic relationship. And, you know, Duplessis Builders with Derek Duplessis, I love telling you about him because he's a local guy, does amazing work, and sincerely wants to do right by people. If you haven't seen it yet or entered, you know, Derek's giving away a pool as part of the Dream Pool Sweepstakes. All you have to do is donate a minimum of $25 to Dreams Come True of Louisiana, and you're entered to win a free pool from Duplessis Builders. I mean, it's amazing generosity to help raise money for children with terminal or life-threatening illnesses here in Louisiana. It's the Dream Pool Sweepstakes with Duplessis Builders, duplessisbuilders.net.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Duplessis Builders Pool.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dosequis. Looks like the lucky.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
She thinks my tractor's sexy. Well, she ain't into cars or pickup trucks.
Today is the first day of a new era of LSU football. Frank Wilson led LSU in their first practice as the interim head coach of the Tigers. Coach Frank met with reporters just a bit ago. They're off the practice field. Unfortunately, obviously, with media availability being at 5 o'clock, I wasn't there. We'll see if we can get a hold of
Frank's still going.
Oh, he's still going?
He's still going.
We're still talking.
Wait a minute. I think it just ended. Okay, never mind. Like the live stream just ended as I clicked over to it.
All right.
I'll do what we talked about in the break.
All right. We'll see if we can get Cobble on the phone. Looks like he was there. See if we can get some insight into. It must have been a long press conference. I mean, that's. There's 22 minutes ago. It's a long press conference. I mean, usually the post-practice pressers are 7-10 minutes long. So it's a long press conference. All right, so we'll see if we can get an update there from Cobble. We're going to spend a lot of time over this next month talking about the future of LSU football. I understand there's 4 games to play, but there's an inevitability that when you fire a coach, you are punting the season. In some respects, you could argue the contrary. Say if you had kept the coach, you're punting the season. This injects some life and maybe has a chance to finish strong, and I agree with that. But you realistically understand you're at this point where you fired the coach for a reason. So we'll see what they're able to do over the remaining four games. But most of our conversation over the next month is going to center around who's going to be the next coach at LSU. Frank Wilson has a great opportunity here to be the head coach for 4 games in an era where culture, buy-in from players, recruiting, navigating this structure means more than it ever has. I mean, the coach that you had won 300 games as a college football head coach. 100 more than the next closest active coach. Like, he's a good coach. He knows how to do it in a former era. This era, he struggled, like a lot of guys have. Brian Kelly did. Like Nick Sabin didn't want to do it anymore. Like Mike Gundy and Dabo have struggled. I mean, that's part and parcel with how this goes. Now, it's not an age thing. Kurt Cignetti's 64. He's nailing it at Indiana. So it ain't just because you're in your 60s. You have to have an ability and a willingness to do it this way. So Frank's got a great opportunity. But we're going to hear a whole bunch of other people mentioned. A couple of coaches that met with reporters this week and were asked about it. One was John Summerall at Tulane, and he met with reporters Tuesday for his press conference, and he was asked about being linked to the LSU opening. And we ran through some odds yesterday where Summerall actually has the top. He is the betting favorite to be the next LSU coach. Now, take that for what it's worth, but it's certainly a consideration. Here was Summerall.
I don't know. I mean, it's the world we live in.
You got a job to do, you got to ask that question. I got a job to do, it's to coach the Tulane football team. I've dealt with it every year as a head coach. I understand it comes with the territory. I get those questions because we're having success. That's about our players. And the coaching carousel to me is not even a thought because we're in the mid-season phase. So whatever somebody else wants to do, another program wants to do, what people want to speculate, they're free to do that. UTSA has my 100% focus. Our team playing the best they can has my 100% focus.
All right. In the denial scale, Muse, where does that fall?
I'm going with non-denial denial.
That is absolutely a non-denial denial. The non-denial, if you're not familiar, there's the denial, which was Nick Saban saying, I'm not going to be the Alabama coach. Right? That's a denial. There's the non-denial, and then there's the non-denial denial, where you deny it, but you're not really denying anything, which is what John Summerall just did right there. So the old non-denial denial, it'll get you. Listen, the fact that he didn't say it, it's an impossible question for any coach to answer in a press conference. Because what do you want him to say? If he says, I'm not going to be the LSU coach, but then he becomes the LSU coach, he's a liar. If he says that he's interested in being the LSU coach, well, then that's a non-denial. You're saying you're interested. The non-denial denial is not denying it, but by not denying it, but denying it by not denying it, sort of thing. That's the non-denial denial, which you just heard from John Summerall. I don't know that there's ever a good way to answer those questions, but you, if you're a reporter, and that's what John Summerall was saying at the beginning. He's like, I have a job to do, you have a job to do. The job that a reporter has to do in that press conference is say, Coach, you're being mentioned for the LSU job. Would you have interest in this job? If you don't ask him that question as a reporter, you are negligent. You are not doing your job. So I understand the question has to be asked, and I also understand that he probably shouldn't answer it in the way many of us would want. I would love to hear him say, yeah, man, LSU's a great program. I'd love to have that opportunity. But why would he say that? Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State was the other that was asked. And he was asked about both LSU and Penn State being open.
I'm trying to win as many games as I can here. That is my number one focus is our players, our football team, everything about us. That's simple. Like, I am so singularly focused on us to win football games, to become a better football team, this season. Like, that's my singular focus.
All right, Muse. I think you're batting 1,000, which is rare for you in anything. But I think you're batting 1,000 in this game. What are we going to call that with Kenny Dillingham?
I'm going to go with another non-denial denial.
You
there.
nailed it. That would, in fact, be a non-denial denial from Kenny Dillingham. Dillingham's 35 years old. He is an Arizona State alum. So he played collegiately at Arizona State. And he's bounced around a little bit from being a high school coach, then an analyst at Arizona State, then to Memphis for a good bit. He spent a year at Auburn as the OC, then went to Florida State where he was the OC in 20 and 21, then went to Oregon for a season as the OC in 22, and then became the head coach at Arizona State. Wherever he's gone, success has followed. He's a bright young offensive guy. He's one of those offensive wunderkinds, and again, a guy that gets this era of football and his second season at Arizona State as the head coach. He brought him to the college football playoff, where they lost in the Peach Bowl, the game against Texas, where they had Texas on the ropes. But in any event, they're 5-3 right now. A little bit of a disappointing start to this season with so much expectation. They lost in Starkville against Mississippi State earlier this year, but Dillingham is another one that's being mentioned. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. A Friday is the last day of the deal I've been telling you about. Friday is the last day to take advantage of that Michelin deal. I said of 4 new Michelin tires. They're stacking rebates plus a $118 value of free installation when you use your Shaw Bills credit card. That all adds up to $278 off a set of 4 new select Michelin tires. You can get all the deets online at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, or just pop into any of your Shaw Bills locations. Listen, if you need tires, you want to buy the best tires at the cheapest price, you go to Shaw Bills. Tires are a commodity. You can buy a Michelin tire dozens of different places. So go where you're going to get them the best price with the best service. That's always Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. Shaw Bills. We keep you rolling. All right, y'all. It is a After Further Review Tuesday edition powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. We got one thing left to do. Jimmy will be here for Otterlocks after an 18-inning affair last night. World Series returns. Jimmy's got a pick. How did these two teams get back up after playing 2 games in 1? And you got some college football tonight as well. So Otterlocks to wrap up the show next here on AFR.
AFR.
This Saturday, it is the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree at the Clegg's Nursery on Segan from 8 until noon. Make plans to get by there. If you're interested in buying a tree, planting a tree at your home, wherever it may be, this is the event that you want to be at. The Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree at the Clegg's on Segan. Again, only the Segan location from 8 a.m. to noon. And remember, with every tree purchased, every Baton Rouge Green approved tree that's purchased, Clegg's will make a donation to the Baton Rouge Green Foundation to their mission, which is an awesome event, one of the most popular events of the year over at Clegg's. But again, this Saturday, 8 to noon, this Saturday, 8 to noon, the Baton Rouge Green Tree Spree only at the Clegg's on Segan this Saturday, one day only, from 8 until noon. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery. Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Down the stretch we come, final segment here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. We are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Do we have Jimmy?
He's going to call into us. We're having a little bit of a phone connectivity there.
All right, Jimmy will call him, get Otterlocks. Do you have a World Series game tonight, some college football. We'll get to Otter. So while we wait on Jimmy to call, let me remind you about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Inching closer to the holidays, gents. You're a little Cupid over there, thinking of popping the question in the time of Yuletide glee. Yuletide, what is it? Yuletide what? I don't know, something Yuletide. By Yule log. If you want to pop the question around Christmas, go to Lee Michaels. Great selection of beautiful diamond engagement rings, no matter your budget. And 10 locations: Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, Alexandria. Thrill her with a gift in the red box. If they don't have what you want, they'll find it. If they can't find it, they'll make it. And with the buying power of 10 stores, they're going to get you a great price as well. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Okay, let's find out what we're betting on tonight. Time for Otterlocks.
Otterlocks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter! What up?
What's up, Matthew?
Did you make it through 18 innings?
No. I did wake up to the announcer's call that it going out. So, I was pretty tired. So, it's a reminder too, man. There's been, baseball has always been really stubborn to adjust some of the rules and things like that, more of a traditionalist approach. But my goodness, is the approach during the regular season. Nobody wants to see 18-inning games during the 162 regular season. So neither team, neither the fans, the broadcasters, nobody. So
I do.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, okay. All right. Well.
I'd rather actually establish a winner instead of just gifting someone a runner on second base.
Matt, it just kills your bullpen. It wears they're worn out to begin with.
Everybody plays the same rules.
I understand. Guess what? It's not changing for the regular season. So I think the pitch clock and the pace of the game. Listen,
I like that. I like the pitch clock. I agree with you completely.
Yeah, pace of play.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the ghost runner during the regular season.
I bet you love college overtime too, huh? Let's go for 2-point conversions. That'll solve it. Let's not play football. Let's just have why don't we, instead of having an NBA overtime, let's just have a 3-point contest. Let's do a dunk contest to determine winners of games.
There you go. Hey, look, to each his own. So.
Yeah. All right, what are we betting on tonight? Got me in a bad mood now.
Kennesaw State lost the first 2 games of the year, playing up in class a little bit. They've won 5 in a row. They've covered 5 in a row. So 2 teams going in opposite directions right now, UTEP. So the Owls, we had them earlier in a midweek game. We're going to have them again tonight.
Yeah.
So that's one football game. And
hey,
then,
by the way, that's up to 11. You gave it at 10.5. It's at 11.5. You still like it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
All right. The World Series game 4 tonight. One of the byproducts last night's game is, Shohei Ohtani. He did not swing the bat a whole lot in the 9th through 17th innings, but he was cramping up. Now he's going to be the starting pitcher tonight. I just wonder how he's going to be affected tonight. So he's on the mound. As far as I don't think he's going to get really deep into the game. And so we know about that Dodger bullpen. It's been suspect for big parts of the season this year. I'm going to take Toronto at a big price coming back, money line. Also, I don't have any specific plays on the props. The kind of under Ohtani, like total outs recorded, maybe under strikeouts, on the mound. So a lot of unders on him, just the carryover effect. You put a lot of total is emotionally drained.
His strikeout total is 6.5. If you go under, it's plus $1.06.
Yeah, I would go under. I would go under total outs recorded. I'm just looking for a shorter outing than usual for a guy. And listen, he's obviously a popular bet on the props. So I think you only have to lay like minus 1,200. That'll be
outs recorded for Shohei over under 18.5.
Man, he's going to get into the 7th inning. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'll ride with you, brother. Let's go. Let's get nuts.
That's my fade.
Let's fade Shohei. Let's fade the worst player in baseball. I'm with you.
He was cramping last night. I mean, he's not feeling on a full night's rest. I mean, who else is having to do this? So, but I like the.
I'm with you, man. Let's fade
it. A full 6 innings out of him tonight. They'll be more than pleased. So, getting into the 7th inning or completing the 7th inning, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him tonight. So, that's what we're going with. That I like that one better than the strikeouts.
I went under on both. I'm getting nuts. I'm fading the worst player in baseball.
1 minute.
Way overrated. Where are you tomorrow?
Snow, seafood, and steak in Gonzales.
All right. Thank you, Otter.
All right. Good luck.
All right. We'll see you. Jimmy's fading Shohei Ohtani. That is a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. And I'm stupid enough to ride with. What?
That under 18.5 ounces is minus $1.92, man.
Otter's onto something.
That's a lot of juice.
Otter's onto something.
All right.
We got to go. If you missed anything, AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. Shea was here talking Cruton. We talked to Ross Jackson about Tyler Shough, and then we had Sean Salsbury here as well. If you missed anything, catch it on demand podcast or YouTube. Muse Polly, thanks. Y'all have an awesome night. See you tomorrow.
After further review,
we're brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU together, we roar. You know, Our Lady of the Lake is part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And that is a multi-state health system with hospitals and clinics and specialty centers all over to service you whenever, wherever, however. You know, the thing that we always look for when it comes to our medical care, we want access and we want convenience. And Our Lady of the Lake offers that. And I can tell you firsthand. I'm a member of the Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health Group. Dr. Kurt Chastain is my primary care physician. Drew has seen so many physicians and specialists over at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital. Of course, you've got all the Our Lady of the Lake clinics as well. If you need to get in and get out quickly, there's the lake after hours. So many different ways that Our Lady of the Lake is here to serve you, just like they serve LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.